Chapter 1221. P.S. Don't rush to play after reading it. Remember to vote for your monthly votes first. You can enjoy double monthly votes for the 515 Fan Festival now. You can also take a look at other activities where you can get red packets. The emissary was a little confused. He looked at Suyu and then around him. He didn't know who had attacked him. What? Shot or put her hands on her waist and said angrily, "You forced the city master to attack. Now, as you wish, you deserve it." The emissary's pupils constricted slightly. He looked at Suyu in disbelief. What? It was you? That attack was as powerful as a middle-stage perspective deity. How could it be done by a mere all-creation? Impossible, the emissary shouted coldly. Who attacked me just now? Come out. Suyu walked over calmly and said calmly, "The emissary of the Demon Cloud City is not only deaf but also blind." As soon as he finished speaking, Suyu transformed into a ray of colorful divine light and disappeared in an instant. When the emissary saw this, Suyu teleported 3 feet in front of him. Under his horrified gaze, Suyu held the long halberd made of evil fatal energy in his hand and stabbed it toward his chest leisurely. The long halberd contained deadly energy. Suyu's teleportation finally woke the emissary up from his stupor. It was him. It was really him. An all-creation cultivator had the strength to threaten him. Forced to accept this reality, the emissary wasn't convinced. Instead, a competitive spirit rose in his heart. He sneered. "You hid your strength well. Then, let me, a little overlord, experience the supreme divine ability of the city lord. Immovable Vajra." As the long halberd approached, the emissary shouted in a low voice. The surface of his body was like pieces of tofu, flickering rapidly with a bronze color. The evil fiend halberd, which was filled with divine power, stabbed into the bronze body like a small knife stabbing into granite. With a crisp sound, the long halberd was repelled. A long halberd full of evil fatal energy? Is this what you're relying on? The emissary sneered. That's how a villain gets his way. It's easy for him to be blindly arrogant. Although the weapon is good, the controller is weak. What's the use of it if he can't exert its full power? Swish! He flipped his hand and took out a pitch-black cane. The cane was covered with ferocious barbs, and pitch-black demon blood was left on the barbs. The demon blood more or less contained a trace of weak divine power. Countless quasi-deities had died under this crutch. I'll let you see the power of the first lord of the Demon Cloud City, so that you can wake up and know what you're worth. The emissary weighed the crutch in his hand, and the corners of his mouth curved into a cruel smile. Whoosh! The emissary moved like a sudden clap of thunder. The crutch in his hand was like a phantom as he pierced through Suyu. However, the feeling told the emissary that it was just an afterimage left behind by Suyu. Repeating the same old trick? Have you run out of tricks? The emissary was not surprised. Instead, he had a look of disdain on his face. He suddenly turned around and sneered. Here! Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out as the crutch struck the entity. At the same time, the evil halberd once again pierced forward as expected. The emissary did not dodge. His eyes were full of sarcasm. You know that this move is useless, but you still want to use it. Do you have no other moves to use? I feel sorry for you. Is that so? Suyu, who was in front of him, had a silver sword covered with colorful lights in his left hand. The evil halberd in his right hand was also covered with colorful lights at some point. Hiss! Suddenly, the emissary felt a chill in his chest, followed by a stinging pain. He looked down subconsciously, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a needle. The evil halberd penetrated his chest easily like a piece of paper. It penetrated his chest from the front to the back. The halberd penetrated his back and pierced the beating black heart out of his body, making a powerful beating sound. Then, Suyu's halberd shook, and the demon heart suddenly shattered. The evil-killing aura within the evil-killing halberd surged into his body like a tidal wave. In an instant, it filled his entire body. Even his eyes turned pitch black. With a roar of horror, the emissary forcibly shook off the evil halberd. The heart in his chest was reformed, and even the wound was healing. The evil energy in his body was also suppressed. After repeated use, the power contained in the evil halberd gradually weakened. Now, even a middle-stage quasi-god could not be killed with one blow. However, with the evil energy in his body, the emissary also lost most of his strength. What is that 5-color divine light? It assimilated my chest into the power of 5 elements in an instant. The emissary growled in a low voice. Bang! What answered him was the 5 elements mountain. He tried to avoid it, but he was still knocked away, and his body was covered in blood. Shar showed no sympathy. She sneered. You are still so arrogant. You are courting death. Whoosh! The 5 elements mountain rose again and smashed down with overwhelming force. The emissary glared at Suyu fiercely. He stepped back and shouted, Fine, I will remember what you said today. I will convey your words to the demon cloud city master. I hope you won't regret it in the future. Humph! Bang! The 5 elements mountain shot out a magnificent power of 5 elements and bombarded the emissary, who was retreating. This time, his body was cracked, and he was almost smashed into pieces. That's enough. The emissary got up and shouted angrily. You are so aggressive just because you have a few treasures. Suyu said calmly, You are the aggressive one, aren't you? The emissary said coldly, Humph! I will pay you back for today's humiliation. He turned around and tried to leave. However, as soon as he left, another power of 5 elements descended from the sky and bombarded him again, making him roll on the ground. This time, before the emissary could shout, Suyu said, Who allowed you to leave? What? The emissary's face stiffened. He said angrily, What do you want? I am the emissary of the demon cloud city master. Even if the 2 countries are at war, the emissary will not be killed. This was why he was so fearless. If he offended Suyu again, he wouldn't dare to do anything to him. Suyu said leisurely, Emissary? Which country's emissary would resort to violence on the spot? And which country's emissary would try to abduct Her Highness? Just now, Her Highness has said that she is unwilling to go to the Demon Cloud City. Those who disobey will be beheaded. You openly disobeyed the will of Her Highness and abducted her by force. You have betrayed Her Highness. You are a traitor who is not allowed to stay in the 9 cities of the Jinyu realm. Everyone has the right to kill you. Swish, the 5 elements mountain fell with a rumble. The enormous power of 5 elements suppressed the emissary, making it difficult for him to move. He tried his best to resist the 5 elements mountain that was slowly descending. He shouted, How dare you? I am the first lord of the Demon Cloud City. I am ordered by the Demon Cloud City Master to kill me. Do you know how serious the consequences will be? He panicked. He was really panicking. Suyu really dared to kill him. Is the Demon Cloud City Master very powerful? Unfortunately, this is Sea-Watch City. No matter how powerful he is, he can't control me. Suyu said coldly. The emissary looked anxious and shouted sternly. Think about it carefully. Without the Demon Cloud City Master, can you secure the position of the City Master? Stop dreaming. Beside him, Char couldn't stand the emissary's benevolent look. She sneered and said, Are you talking about the various lords under your jurisdiction? It's a pity that they used to be as arrogant as you. After witnessing the power of my lord, they have all pledged allegiance to him. You don't have to worry about my lord's position as the city master. What? Such a thing happened? The emissary was shocked. However, with Suyu's strength, it was not impossible for those timid and weak lords to submit to him. One of the trump cards that he thought he had was useless. Humph, what are you so proud of? Did you forget that I said there were many mysterious killers in Sea-Watch City? All of them are here for the princess. Without the protection of our Demon Cloud City Master, with just you guys, humph. It's not that I'm looking down on you, but within half a month, all of your heads will be removed. As far as I know, there are at least 2 middle-stage prospective deities and hundreds of early-stage prospective deities. Without the help of the Demon Cloud City Master, do you think you could stop them? Shara looked sympathetic. I sympathize with you, really. Shouldn't you have asked around before coming? The so-called mysterious killers you mentioned were sent by the sixth princess, weren't they? One of them is a purebred demon, and the other is a half-purebred demon called Mo Long, right? How did you know? The emissary was shocked and couldn't believe it. He didn't even know the specific identity of the intruder. Shar laughed. Of course I know, because the two of them were killed by my lord on the spot. As for the other 100 early-stage prospective deities, they all surrendered to my lord and swore loyalty to him. What? The emissary gasped. 2 middle-stage prospective deities and 100 early-stage prospective deities. Such a huge lineup was annihilated? At this point, Shah finally exhaled and sneered. You came as if you were giving alms. You said that as long as you served your city master well, you could help my lord secure the position of the city master. To be honest, at that time, I thought you must have been sent by the Demon Cloud City Master to make my lord happy. The emissary was in no mood to pay attention to Shah-Ur's sarcasm. He was sweating all over. The confidence that he was so proud of was shattered into pieces. The villain that he looked down on had crushed him in terms of strength. The fact that he knew the weakness of the new city master was just a joke. So, what right did he have to negotiate with Suyu? Seeing that the 5 Elements mountain was getting heavier and heavier, the emissary's face finally softened, and he said sincerely, I have offended you before. I hope you can forgive me. I am an emissary, and I hope you can forgive me. It sounded like he was admitting defeat, but there were still some remnants of his voice when he said, the humiliation I suffered today will be returned in the future. I don't forgive you. You are the master of a city, the emissary said. In other words, a city master should have the magnanimity of a city master. Didn't you say that according to the rules of the Demon Cloud City, strength is respected, and positions are just fleeting clouds? My strength is not comparable to other city masters, so you can't treat me as a city master. So, I don't need to forgive you as a city master. Hearing that, the emissary's face turned pale. Wasn't that what he said to Suyu in the beginning? He didn't treat Suyu as a city master because strength was respected in the Demon Cloud City, not positions. It was he who blocked all his escape routes. Coming in front of the emissary, Suyu said indifferently, I don't mind that you were rude to me and looked down on me. There are so many people in the world, and many of them look down on me. How tiring would it be to deal with them one by one? So, I let you go and let you go. But you were too presumptuous, so I can't be merciful anymore. After saying that, the 5 Elements mountain came crashing down. The emissary couldn't resist at all and was completely suppressed under the mountain. Shar trotted over, feeling relieved. My lord, how should we deal with him? Chapter 1222. P.S. Don't rush to play after reading it. Remember to vote for your monthly votes first. Now, on the 515 Fan Festival, you can enjoy double monthly votes. You can also take a look at other activities and give out red packets. Of course, this is the easiest way to deal with it. The silver sword in Suyu's left hand flashed and cut off his head. Then, he captured his soul with the demon god's heavenly prison and took away his celestial energy sphere. Keep the head well. If envoys from other cities come, sure, you are in charge of receiving them on my behalf. If they are not friendly enough, show them this head, Suyu said calmly. There will be more than one envoys from each city. What about the Demon Cloud City Master? Should I inform him? Shar asked. Yes, just inform him casually. As Suyu had expected, 3 days later, 2 more envoys arrived at the same time. Like the Demon Cloud City Master, they only sent 2 prospective deities to negotiate on their behalf. In the reception hall, the young Shah greeted the 2 prospective deity envoys like an adult. We represent the city master. Why should we negotiate with a little mortal fairy like you? I represent the Sea-Watch City Master. Why can't we have the same status? Shah asked. What a joke. Everyone knows what kind of thing your Sea-Watch City Lord is. What qualifications do you have to be mentioned in the same breath as our City Lord? Ask him to come out. We have something to discuss. Haha. There was an envoy who came to negotiate like you before. He didn't end well, Shah said with a faint smile. Cut the crap. We don't care who you are. We want to see the Sea-Watch City Master. I will give you an hour to ask him to come here immediately. Oh, I will ask him to come. You can enjoy this gift first. Sha stood up gracefully and put down a jade box that contained the head. Then she walked away lightly. Ah, the first lord of the demon cloud city, Zhao Yunfei. What? It's him. How did he die? Sha turned around and said, shouldn't he be killed for offending a city master? Oh, it was our city master who did it himself. All right, you guys take your time to admire it. I'll go call the city lord over. He'll definitely be very happy to see you guys. He said that if he were to meet an arrogant emissary like Zhao Yunfei again, he would gladly receive him. This was too much. Chu Yunfei's battle prowess was above theirs, and he was the #1 city lord of the Demon Cloud City. The Demon Cloud City Lord was known as the #1 city lord of the 9 cities, and even his envoys were killed, let alone them. Wait, Miss Shah, or we've thought it through. Indeed, we should do as you said. We just need to discuss. There's no need to alarm the Sea Watch City Lord. The messenger glanced at Zhao Yunfei's widened eyes from the corner of his eyes. His heart trembled. Shah asked curiously, Didn't you say that we must summon the city master here in an hour? That's a slip of the tongue. Miss Shah, or must have misheard. Oh, all right then, let's talk. In half a month, 5 or 6 envoys came one after another. Those who were unkind or domineering at first became well-behaved after seeing Zhao Yunfei's severed head. Some of the envoys didn't even mention taking away Her Highness. They just said a few perfunctory words and left in a hurry. At the same time, the news of the battle in Agile Demon City finally spread to the various cities. The news that Su Yu single-handedly wiped out hundreds of early-stage prospective deities and 3 middle-stage prospective deities completely shocked them. Since then, no more envoys came, let alone talk about taking Her Highness away. Sea Watch City regained its peace. However, an unknown crisis lurked in the calm. In the bustling city, a middle-aged man with a white face and a black mark on his forehead was walking. His eyes were shining with a deep light. He had no breath from head to toe, just like an ordinary person. Looking at the mansion of the city master from afar, the white-faced, middle-aged man couldn't help but flash with murderous intent. However, he quickly suppressed it and walked in the bustling city as if nothing had happened. He was extremely vigilant as he walked towards the mansion. Having fought with Su Yu many times, the book deity was conceited and well-versed in the knowledge of the world. However, if he were to evaluate Su Yu, he would have to say that his intelligence was close to that of a demon. He was meticulous in his thinking and set traps at every step. The book deity, who had suffered many losses, didn't feel that his caution at the moment was superfluous. He even had no doubt that Su Yu would have been waiting for him for a long time if he broke into the mansion. In the mansion, Su Yu was indeed waiting. However, it wasn't the book deity who came. It was another deity, an unexpected deity. In the reception hall, Su Yu received him personally. The visitor was a white-haired old man. He was old in the truest sense of the word. Intuitively, Su Yu could feel the weakness of the white-haired old man, which was almost the same as that of the crane deity. The life of a deity also had an end. The decline of the godly spirit was a sign that a deity was dying of old age. Such a deity who was about to die took the initiative to find Su Yu. What was more worth mentioning was that he was also one of the 9 city masters, the purple-eyed demonic god. He was ranked 9th and was the weakest deity in the 9 cities. At this time, the city master came to visit in person, so you had to take him seriously. Purple-eyed demonic god, did you come here just to find a place to close your eyes and rest? Su Yu was slightly surprised. After the purple-eyed demonic god came here, he didn't say a word and sat with his eyes closed. Hearing this, the purple-eyed demonic god's eyelids moved slightly and opened a pair of eyes. It was a pair of rare purple eyes, which were surrounded by a mysterious light. Looking into these eyes, Su Yu's heart trembled slightly, and he had the illusion that he had been seen through. The purple-eyed demonic god's voice was hoarse, with a sense of vicissitudes of life. When he opened his mouth, there was a natural smell of decay. This was the unique smell of a deity who was about to die. It's not as good as seeing you in person. No wonder you could save a deity from the giant of the bitter sea. You have the power of the heavenly law that transcends time and space. When the purple-eyed demonic god opened his mouth, Su Yu's face changed. He saw through his power of time and space at a glance and knew that he saved the tree god from the giant of the bitter sea. It was confirmed that he was not present at that time, but how did he know? Su Yu narrowed his eyes, and killing intent slowly floated in his eyes. Don't be in a hurry to do it. The means you arranged should be prepared for another deity. If exposed, the effect will be greatly reduced. The purple-eyed demonic god laughed. Su Yu's pupils shrank slightly. He even knew this. He had been guarding against the arrival of the book deity, but his arrangement was seen through by this old guy. Old man, you know too much. The purple-eyed demonic god laughed. The other deities also said so no deity trusted me, except for Her Royal Highness the Ninth Princess. That's because she is too stupid. Su Yu believed that most people would not let go of such a character who could know their secret existence at any time. Right? Any trust? Probably only the heartless Gua would take him in and let him be the master of the city. The purple-eyed demonic god looked at Gua, who was lying at Su Yu's feet. He seemed to have discovered the 9-color mark in Gua's body, but he did not point it out. So, the purple-eyed demonic god came to visit me specifically to take Her Royal Highness away. The purple-eyed demonic god chuckled and shook his head. I am old and do not have the spirit of a young man. I dare not be an enemy of the other 8 city masters. Whoever got Her Royal Highness would become the target of public criticism. This was a consensus in the Jinyu realm. Oh, could it be that you are too lonely and came to me, a junior, to talk about life and relieve your loneliness? So you said indifferently. Exactly. The purple-eyed demonic god's answer choked Su Yu. I am indeed looking for you to talk about life, the purple-eyed demonic god said seriously. Su Yu's heart was in a mess. However, we're talking about the life of my heir. I am old and have no life to talk about, the purple-eyed demonic god said softly. Su Yu listened patiently. A dignified god came to visit. There must be a purpose. My heir has inherited my divine path and is now in the process of breaking through the divine position. When I fall, the divine position will be vacant, and my heir will naturally get the divine position, the purple-eyed demonic god said. If everything is normal, after my fall, my heir will also become the city master. However, after you came to the demon realm, everything is not normal. Sure enough, in the end, it was Su Yu, attracting the giant of the bitter sea ashore, causing Her Royal Highness the 9th Princess to be seriously injured, and causing the 6th Princess to be restless. The gods of the Jinyu realm have different thoughts. It was a peaceful paradise, but because of your arrival, it fell into turmoil. I don't know if you have realized that you are the source of the turmoil. The purple-eyed demonic god's purple eyes flashed, as if he had a deep meaning. The source of the turmoil? Looking back carefully on Su Yu's life, everywhere he went, there was chaos. In the Jinlong continent, in Jiuzhou, and in the Xing River, everywhere he went, there was bound to be a storm of blood. From the lowest level of martial artists to the gods, they all fell in the turmoil. After being reminded by the purple-eyed demonic god, Su Yu also realized that his life was really chaotic, especially recently. When he came to the Great Eastern Alliance, he massacred the hidden traitors of the demon race among the 100 gods, setting off a storm of blood. The sky wept blood, and all things mourned. When he came to the world of divine remains, the gods fell, the 8 cavern worlds were destroyed, and the world of divine remains was erased from the world. When he came to the demon realm, he attracted the giant of the bitter sea ashore and finally caused the Jinyu realm to fall into chaos. This was the turmoil caused by Su Yu unconsciously. If he had consciously guided it, half of the demon realm would have fallen into turmoil. So, you didn't come to eradicate me, the source of the turmoil, did you? Su Yu looked calm. If the purple-eyed demonic god wanted to kill him, he would have done it long ago instead of waiting until now. The purple-eyed demonic god smiled. Of course not. There is no benefit in killing you, and from the means you have arranged, I may not be able to kill you. Oh, then what do you want to do? The purple-eyed demonic god smiled. Didn't I say that I want to talk about the life of my heir? I want to entrust my heir to your care. Since he could see through many of Su Yu's secrets, he should have seen through Su Yu's identity outside of the galaxy. He even dared to hand over his heir to Su Yu. I don't like to do troublesome things. Su Yu refused without hesitation. My heir has also inherited my divine path and understands all things in the world, so I can't keep him. Do I look like someone who likes to let others know my secrets? You don't. However, you can sign a contract, and you and the people related to you will not be able to see through. It's too troublesome. Haha. So I will support you in whatever you do next, including dealing with the other 8 gods and what you're going to do in the demon realm. Su Yu raised his eyebrows, stared at the purple-eyed demonic god, and said lightly, "Your eyes are really annoying. However, if they're only annoying to the enemy, that would be great." A smile appeared on Su Yu's face. They had reached a deal. Su Yu would help him take care of his heir, and the purple-eyed demonic god would help Su Yu in his limited life. Now, Su Yu was surrounded by enemies on all sides and was in urgent need of gods he could trust. The purple-eyed demonic god was the best help. Of course, Su Yu also had doubts. Chapter 12:23. Did you choose me just because I'm the source of chaos? Since you know, then you should know that I'm surrounded by danger and that I could lose my life at any moment. It's hard for me to understand what you're doing. The purple-eyed demonic god's eyes flickered with a deep penetrating light. The source of chaos will indeed cause chaos, but it is an endless blessing to oneself and the people around you. You should know this very well. To your enemies, you bring destruction, but to the people around you, you bring endless benefits. For example, the 2 gods with weak auras on you. They should have been dead gods, but by following you, they have been nourished by good fortune and have recovered part of their godly spirit. It is only a matter of time before they return to godhood. My understanding is that the source of chaos destroys everything, but it gains benefits from the destruction to strengthen itself and the people around it. Your experience is enough to prove this theory. So, if my successor stays by your side and receives your care, he will benefit greatly. On the other hand, if I leave him alone in the Jingyu realm, I'm afraid he will suffer a mishap before he can mature. After all, the 8 gods could hardly tolerate the growth of a new god who could see through their secrets. As it turned out, he was trying to preserve his divine path inheritance and prevent it from being extinguished by the other 8 gods. All right, if your successor hasn't grown up and you die first, I'll take care of him for you until he becomes a god. Su Yu pondered for a moment, then chose to agree. But let me warn you first. Don't expect me to disregard everything for him. He will stay by my side, and his status will be that of my subordinate. Sure. The purple-eyed demonic god agreed without hesitation, as if he was afraid that Su Yu would go back on his word. This old man. Su Yu secretly wondered if he had suffered a loss. When you can't do it anymore, hand over the successor to me. Su Yu said, although the purple-eyed demonic god was weak, he should be able to hold on for a few more years if there were no major changes. The purple-eyed fiend celestial agreed readily. In that case, I'll now assist you in chasing away that foreign god that you're wary of. Consider it a little bit of my sincerity, the purple-eyed demonic god said with a chuckle. Su Yu's expression turned cold. Has he already arrived in the city? Yes, he is loitering outside the mansion. As a deity, it was easy for the purple-eyed demonic god to sense the book deity's presence. Su Yu's eyes flickered. You can only drive him away? The purple-eyed demon god rolled his eyes. What else can I do? With my current strength, I won't be able to stop him even if I risk my life. The purple-eyed demonic god was not a battle-type god. The most powerful thing about him was that pair of eyes that could see through the world. However, Su Yu was a little reluctant to drive the book deity away. With a pensive look in his eyes, Su Yu asked, "Can you detect his weakness?" "Let me try." The purple-eyed demonic god closed his eyes, and a mysterious ripple spread out from his eyes. Not long after, the purple-eyed demonic god opened his eyes, which were filled with astonishment. Strange, this person is like a whirlpool, bottomless. This is the first time I've met such a god. As he spoke, the purple-eyed demonic god felt embarrassed and said, "Let me try again. There is no need for that, as this person is really unfathomable." Suyu wasn't disappointed, and he revealed a look of approval. He had always felt that the book deity was terrifying. Suyu didn't find it strange that he was different from ordinary people. "I can only use the dumbest method." Suyu's eyes flickered. "I hope the purple-eyed demonic god can lend me a hand and lure it out." The purple-eyed demon god asked, "What is it?" "He will only dare to attack when you leave." Suyu's eyes flickered. The purple-eyed demon god understood tacitly. "You mean I will pretend to leave, wait for him to attack, and then cooperate with you to kill him?" "Exactly." After thinking about it, the purple-eyed demon god nodded and agreed. He stayed in Suyu's mansion for half a day, pretending to leave. In fact, he hid somewhere outside the city, waiting for Suyu to give orders. In the city, the book deity, who had been watching the mansion, was indifferent and did not take action immediately. He said indifferently, "Are you trying to lure me to attack?" Having suffered at Suyu's hands several times, the book deity was very careful about Suyu's every move. 1 day passed, 2 days passed. When half a month passed, the book deity was still very patient, waiting quietly. Time passed slowly, and finally a month had passed. At this time, a wave of divine light suddenly appeared above the mansion. It was the purple-eyed demon god who had clearly left, and he had returned. The book deity's face revealed an expression of "I knew it. It won't be so easy to trick me again, Suyu." His eyes flickered slightly, and the book deity disappeared from Seawatch City. In the mansion, the purple-eyed demon god appeared in front of Suyu and sighed. "The book deity is really patient. It seems that he should have guessed your plan." Frowning slightly, Suyu said, "What a troublesome character. This person is so cunning. I'm afraid it will be very difficult to lure him out," the purple-eyed demon god said. Suddenly, the purple-eyed demon god's expression changed slightly. "Wait, he left." "Left?" Suyu's eyes showed a thoughtful look. "Did he give up?" the purple-eyed demon god asked. Suyu shook his head and frowned slightly. "No. Based on my understanding of this person, he will most likely find another way, and he will use some dangerous means." "What does he want to do?" "If he suddenly left, where would he go?" Inadvertently, his eyes swept over the purple-eyed demon god, and his eyes revealed a look of understanding. "Purple-eyed demon god, I guess he is likely to go to your territory." "What?" The purple-eyed demon god was slightly shocked. "He is going to deal with you." "Why did he come to my mansion?" "A diversion." So you said calmly, "Creating chaos in your territory, forcing you to leave. This is the book deity's conspiracy." "No, it is an overt conspiracy. Even if you know his plan, you still have to rush back to your territory." The purple-eyed demon god's brows were deeply furrowed. In his territory, he could ignore everything else except his heir. If the book deity found out, the consequences would be unimaginable. The purple-eyed demon god was in a difficult position. If he went back to rescue him, he would undoubtedly fall into a trap. Without the purple-eyed demon god's help, it would be difficult for Suyu to deal with the book deity alone. Right at this moment, Suyu said, "Purple-eyed demon god, you should go back quickly." "Then you?" The purple-eyed demon god was shocked. When he met Suyu's half-smiling eyes, he seemed to have understood something. "You want to? We will beat him at his own game." Suyu looked calm. "As long as the timing is right, we will definitely be able to give the book deity an unexpected heavy blow." "Beat him at his own game?" The purple-eyed demon god understood and showed a look of approval. A moment later, the purple-eyed demon god left the mansion and quickly rushed back to Purple Eye City. This time, he really left. Just 2 days after he left, a wave of divine light quietly spread throughout Seawatch City. A divine shadow descended fearlessly into the city master's mansion. The book deity stood in front of a rockery and stared indifferently at Suyu, who was drinking alone in the pavilion. The two of them looked at each other from afar, their gazes colliding with silent sparks of murderous intent. The book deity put his hands behind his back. "You have no one to rely on anymore, right? The 9 deities of the Great Easter Alliance are not here, and the newly befriended demon god can no longer help you. I really want to know who else is going to save you. Suyu looked calm and smiled faintly. You are always very confident, even though you were defeated by me. Chapter 1224. Suyu's eyes flashed, and a terrifying evil energy suddenly shot out from between his eyebrows. A huge black dog stretched out its black dog paw, holding a long halberd densely covered with evil energy, and stabbed out instantly. The book deity seemed to have anticipated this sudden attack. Sure enough, his figure flashed, and he quickly teleported, leaving only a piece of divine light pierced by the long halberd of evil fatal energy. The book deity stared at the huge black dog in front of Suyu. You are the mysterious remnant soul that the Azura god mentioned, aren't you? Not bad. You don't look like an ordinary deity. 1/10 of the remnant soul's power is already at the level of a late-stage prospective deity. If you recover to your peak, I'm afraid no one in the entire Xing River, except for the Demon Emperor, can be your opponent. The black dog rolled its eyes and laughed strangely. You don't look like an ordinary deity either. You're so strong, even though you're distracted by suppressing the deity perishing misfortune. It was not surprising that the attack failed. The evil fatal energy in the halberd was far less than before. At first, the black dog held the long halberd, and its combat power reached the level of a deity. When it joined forces with the book deity, it could fight against the Azura god, who ranked fourth in the Great Eastern Alliance. Now, it was not even at the level of a deity, let alone killing the book deity. Fortunately, the book deity needed to suppress the deity perishing misfortune, and his strength was not as strong as before. Otherwise, he could have killed the black dog's remnant soul without dodging. However, the book deity was a deity after all, and his divine power was not comparable to that of the evil god. Swoosh! In an instant, the two fought again. After 10 rounds, the book deity's eyes flashed, and 30% of his divine power gathered at his fingertips. He pointed at the long halberd that was stabbing at him. Suddenly, the long halberd formed by the evil fatal energy could no longer withstand it. It suddenly collapsed into evil fatal energy and dissipated in the void. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the book deity's finger suddenly pointed at the black dog like a flash of lightning. Having lost its weapon, the black dog's expression changed slightly. It had to use its body to resist this blow. It had been taken care of by Suyu for a long time, and its celestial energy sphere had recovered a lot. It was confident that it could resist this blow. However, just as he was about to hit the target, the corner of the book deity's mouth revealed an imperceptible strange expression, and a faint gray force swallowed and spat out from his fingertip. That power was the divine power of the Azura god. When the black dog noticed, its eyes widened and it hurriedly teleported away. However, how could the book deity's finger, which was filled with killing intent, be easily blocked? Just as the black dog soul was about to be destroyed, another soul suddenly lunged at it without warning. His soul hugged a mass of mid-stage prospective deity god source and detonated it directly. The book deity frowned slightly. He had no choice but to retract the divine power on his fingertips to protect his body. Boom, boom, boom. An earth-shattering roar radiated out, and a small half of the mansion was turned into a bottomless black pit. The pavilion Suyu was in had also been razed to the ground. Somewhere in the sky, the black dog teleported and appeared in a flash. Suyu was sitting on its back. It's all thanks to you, kid. This god's life has been saved. The black dog said resentfully, its eyes narrowing slightly. This is more troublesome than I thought. He actually collected a lot of the Azura god's divine power from its self-destruction. The Azura god's godly power is several times stronger than the book deity's. So he was also slightly surprised. The book deity still had this trick up his sleeve. When the smoke and dust dissipated, the book deity was unscathed under the protection of his godly power. He stared at Suyu indifferently. I told you, there will be no exceptions this time. Swish, the book deity attacked again, and the godly power of the book deity and the Azura god emerged from his body at the same time. The black dog bared its teeth and charged forward. However, there was a colorful hill in its paw. The godly power and the power of 5 elements intertwined, bursting out amazing fluctuations that shook the Sea-Watch city. All living creatures were shocked. Both of them were shaken back. The book deity stared at the colorful hill and said coldly, "No matter how many treasures there are, it is difficult to exert all of their power." So what? As soon as he finished speaking, he teleported again and attacked again. The black dog had the colorful hill and the power of 5 elements to assist him. He could barely defend himself, but it was difficult to reverse the situation. The two sides fought fiercely, constantly teleporting out of the city. Wherever they passed, the earth was destroyed, and even some of the weaker cavern worlds were directly bombarded and collapsed. The fluctuations here quickly spread to the other 8 cities. Indistinctly, the fluctuations of a few deities flashed by. The book deity's face fell. It was not good for him to prolong the battle. No one knew whether the deities who came to watch the battle would suddenly attack him. After all, he was a deity from the outside world. However, Suyu's existence was very tricky. Every time he suddenly made a killing move to annihilate the remnant soul of the black dog, Suyu would always sacrifice a self-exploding soul from the demonic god's heavenly prison to interrupt the killing move. The strongest of those self-exploding souls were middle-stage prospective deities, and the weakest were early-stage prospective deities. However, even as a deity, he could not ignore them. The battle between the two sides was white-hot, and the black dog was gradually exhausted. The godly power produced by the godly spirit couldn't keep up with the consumption. "Boy, I can't hold on any longer," the black dog said. Suyu frowned slightly. "Hold on for a little longer." Looking up at the endless sea, Suyu's brows furrowed even more. At this moment, the book deity suddenly retreated, and his eyes flashed with determination. "There is no other way." Swish, he took out a book named Star River Scripture. This was another book with a cavern world inside. The difference was that the astonishing fluctuations coming from the book belonged to the wild beasts of the galaxy. Roar. Several roars came from the book faintly. The book deity fiercely bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of divine blood on the Star River Scripture. Suddenly, it seemed that the seal suppressing the monster was opened. From the Mountain River Scripture, a deity-level wild beast that looked like a strange fish rushed out. The enormous deity's aura rolled in all directions like a tsunami. After the deity-level wild beast appeared, it stared at the book deity greedily, as if it was still tasting the divine blood of the book deity. The book deity gritted his teeth and spat out another mouthful of divine blood. There were more than 100 drops, which was 10% of the divine blood in the book deity's body. The deity-level wild beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed all the 100 drops of divine blood. After that, the deity-level wild beast turned its head contentedly and stared at the evil god and Suyu with murderous eyes. The black dog's pupils shrank sharply. Did the other party directly summon a deity-level wild beast? Staring at the book, the black dog was shocked. Suyu was also very surprised. He didn't expect the evil god to have such a backup plan. Moreover, there was obviously more than one wild beast in the book. These are the wild beasts that I have captured during my travels in the Star River. I intended to keep them to assist the demons when they counterattack the Great Eastern Alliance in the future. The book deity's face was slightly pale. Consuming 10% of his divine blood was not a small price for him. Today, you should feel lucky that I used them on you. So you couldn't understand the book deity's thoughts at all. Why did the previous book deities crazily destroy the Great Eastern Alliance? Did the Alliance ever treat the book deities' family badly? No. Even though they knew that the previous book deities were disloyal, they still placed the fallen book deities in the tomb of the god of sin, which was extremely preferential treatment. Shaking his head, Suyu said coldly, "Unreasonable." As he spoke, the wild beast opened its bloody mouth and suddenly attacked. The book deity also moved at the same time, cooperating with the wild beast. Two deities attacked at the same time. Even if the black dog had the help of 2 5 elements mountains, it would be useless. At this critical moment, Su Yu sighed helplessly. There is no other way. I can only open it again. Suddenly, the space between his eyebrows wriggled as if something was turning inside. Then, a dark crack slowly opened, revealing a silver-white eyeball. The eyeball was filled with inhuman ferocity and greed. There was also a wild, ancient, murderous aura leaking from the eyeball. As soon as the aura appeared, all the creatures in the entire area trembled uneasily, as if they were being stared at by something terrible. Even the gods who were hiding to watch the battle could not help but feel the fluctuations of their divine light, and they were almost exposed. Compared with the ferocious aura of the wild beast, in front of this ancient ferocious aura, it was like a small mountain in front of a great wizard. The god-level wild beast, which was originally rushing over fiercely, could not help but show fear in its eyes when this aura appeared. It suddenly stopped and hesitated to move forward. The book deity was taken aback. The Tao Tai's eye? Or is it a semi-mature Tao Tai's eye that has undergone a transformation? Tao Tai, like the ancient legends, had a ferocious name deeply rooted in people's hearts. So you did not say a word. The Tao Tai's eye suddenly opened, and the silver eyeball condensed into a vortex. In the center of the vortex was a small dark dot, as if the end of the vortex was endless silence. The vortex erupted with an endless sucking force, shrouding the book deity and the god-level wild beast. As gods, after being shrouded by this force, all the divine power in their bodies was condensed, and they became like ordinary people, allowing the sucking force to slowly pull them over. If it was a mature Tao Tai's eye, they would have been swallowed directly by now, instead of being slowly pulled over. Evil God, Su Yu shouted in a low voice. The evil god understood, and suddenly flashed behind the book deity with the 5 elements mountain in his hand. The 5 elements mountain in his palm enlarged infinitely, condensed into a giant of 1,000 feet, and smashed down fiercely. This blow was enough to destroy the divine body of the book deity, who had lost all his divine power. At this critical moment, the book deity fiercely bit the tip of his tongue again, this time spitting out a total of 200 drops of divine blood. The divine blood sprinkled on the body of the wild beast and automatically condensed into golden chains. The chains were pulled, and the huge body of the god-level wild beast was forcibly pulled, and in an instant, it blocked behind the book deity. Bang! With a violent, muffled sound, accompanied by a scream, the body of the god-level wild beast was smashed by the 5 elements mountain. The escaped soul could not continue to resist the sucking force of the Tao Tai's eye, and it was instantly swallowed. The devouring was completed, and it was a great supplement for the soul of a god. The Tao Tai's eye closed again. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the book deity's eyes flashed, and he resisted the weakness caused by the serious loss of divine blood, turned into a divine light, and attacked Su Yu. The evil god's blow fell, and there was no time to save him. You really deserve to die. The book deity rarely spoke in a stern voice. This time, he had lost 30% of his divine blood, and with the deity perishing misfortune, it would take at least 100 years of meditation to return to his peak state. At this moment, the book deity had an impulse to give up on capturing Su Yu and kill him instead. Seeing that Su Yu was about to be captured, suddenly, a wave of divine light suddenly came over. The extremely cold divine power descended from the sky, blasting the book deity's body. The book deity was already an arrow at the end of its flight, so how could he withstand the blow of a complete god? Puff! The book deity's body was cracked, and divine blood splashed, sprinkling on the ground. Looking up, his pupils shrank fiercely. Purple-eyed demonic god. You! The purple-eyed demonic god flew to Su Yu's side and sneered. I went back, didn't I? The feather demon was right. Your purpose was to distract me, and you may not really cause substantial damage to the Purple Eye City. So as long as I really left and returned to the Purple Eye City, you would definitely attack me. Therefore, I went back, but I left immediately. Your every move is completely under the control of the feather demon. The purple-eyed demonic god looked at Su Yu and secretly sighed that this man could see through people's minds. Although this man did not have the mystery of the purple-eyed demonic god's detection, with his unparalleled wisdom, he was terrifying. Being plotted against by Su Yu again, the book deity was very gloomy. Why was he tricked by this man again? However, the book deity was extremely decisive, and a touch of decisiveness flashed in his eyes. He once again took out the Star River scripture. However, as soon as he took it out, the purple-eyed demonic god's divine light flickered and snatched the book, lest he released another deity-level wild beast. The book deity snorted coldly and teleported. However, as soon as he moved, the black dog grabbed the Five Elements mountain and suddenly attacked from behind, forcing the book deity to dodge and have no time to open the Star River scripture. The purple-eyed demonic god also attacked with all his strength, cooperating with the black dog to suppress the book deity, who was gradually losing ground. The purple-eyed demonic god, in particular, posed a fatal threat to the book deity. He bombarded his body 3 times in a row, and his body had been smashed. Only one last attack would completely destroy his body. The book deity was furious. It was impossible to catch Su Yu again, and he could only wait for another opportunity. With that thought in mind, the book deity teleported away. However, in an instant, a pitch-black Cauldron, which was as black as a mountain, suddenly appeared and stepped down, kicking the teleporting book deity out. Puff! Severely injured, the book deity spat out a mouthful of divine blood. He turned his head and looked, and his pupils shrank sharply. This is the Cauldron god of the JoJo Cavern world. You have recovered to the point where you can control your former divine body. The sacred Cauldron's physical body had always been preserved in the 100-story Marshall Tower, unlike the black dog, who didn't even have a physical body. Under the continuous nourishment of Su Yu's celestial energy sphere, the sacred Cauldron had recovered to the middle stage perspective deity, which was enough to control its former divine body. Although it was far from being comparable to the past, it was comparable to the black dog. Suffering a serious injury, the book deity's body was even more shaky. The purple-eyed demonic god, the black dog, and the sacred Cauldron surrounded the book deity. This was Su Yu's final plan. This time, the book deity must pay a heavy price. Being forced into a desperate situation was similar to the scene in the world of divine remains that day. However, at this moment, the book deity did not look desperate. He showed a cold expression. Su Yu, do you think you have one? This time I was careless, but next time, I will make sure you die without a burial place. Demon Cloud City Master, what are you waiting for? Boom! From the invisible sea, a magnificent and terrible divine power suddenly descended. The strength of the divine power was comparable to the all-access merchant god, who ranked second in the Great Eastern Alliance. The divine power formed an extremely overbearing tornado, sweeping away the purple-eyed demonic god and the other two, and the book deity was swept away. Su Yu's eyes were cold. Want to leave? His eyes suddenly shot out 3 different colors. The 3 colors of time, space, and soul merged into one, forming a different space that locked on the book deity. The book deity, who was about to escape, was trapped, gradually separated from the tornado, and was left behind again. The purple-eyed demonic god and the other 2 also reacted and joined forces to attack. Chapter 1225. The divine power contained in the voice crushed most of the combined power of the 3 deities, and only a small part of it bombarded the book deity. Half of his body collapsed into a pile of flesh under the bombardment of the divine power. Su Yu's dimensional space also lost its effect at this moment. The book deity finally survived and was rescued by the Demon Cloud City Master. Sensing the departure of the spectating deities, Su Yu's eyes were filled with cold light. Demon Cloud City Master. No one expected that the book deity had colluded with the Demon Cloud City Master before he came here. Due to his identity as the City Master, the Demon Cloud City Master couldn't attack Su Yu at will, but he could rescue the book deity. The purple-eyed, demonic god sighed. This man is really cunning. He always leaves a way out. He obviously put him in a desperate situation, but he still managed to escape. The Black Dog and Kylan were also ashamed. The three of us joined forces, but we still let him escape. What a waste of your arrangements. Don't blame yourself. It's not surprising that he could escape, Suyu said calmly. He didn't expect to be able to kill him this time. The book deity escaped when the 9 deities of the Great Eastern Alliance attacked him, let alone the 3 of them. He lost at least 50% of his divine blood, and more than half of his body was destroyed. The price he paid was enough for him to not dare to attack for half a year. I have achieved my goal, Suyu said. As he spoke, he gathered all the scattered divine blood of the book deity. Roughly counting, there were about 200 drops, all of which had been forcefully beaten out of him. With so much divine blood, he could try to open the 5th dragon of the divine 9-dragon cauldron. When Suyu was collecting the divine blood, he accidentally found the broken half of the book deity's body, which was holding a glowing red book in his hand. The words Star River Scripture suddenly appeared. Suyu's pupils shrank, and he couldn't help but laugh. Book deity, you traveled the starry sky and spent so much effort on this thing, but in the end, it was all for me. This was the biggest gain of the day. This was the biggest reliance of the book deity. The purple-eyed, demonic god stared at it, and his mouth twitched. He said with a wry smile, "We fought for you, but in the end, it was you who benefited. Hurry up and put it away. Don't make me want to rob it." There were several god-level wild beasts sealed in this book, and the book deity wanted to summon another one. Holding this book was equivalent to holding all the godly fighters. Even the purple-eyed demonic god was tempted. If he could hand him over to his successor, why would he need to worry about his future growth? The black dog's eyes darted around, and it rubbed its paws for a while before it chuckled and said, "Well, I've been lonely lately. How about lending me this scripture? If you can't stand the loneliness, you can read erotic books. If you can't stand it, you can also look at female dogs to satisfy your cravings." As he spoke, Suyu immediately hid the Star River scripture. After cleaning up the battlefield, Suyu looked at the purple-eyed demonic god. "Thank goodness you arrived in time, purple-eyed demonic god. Otherwise, the situation would have been very bad. Haha, Sea-Watch City Lord, you're flattering me. If it weren't for your amazing skills, I wouldn't have been able to do anything to the book deity." The purple-eyed demonic god's words were not flattery, but sincere. Hearing this, Suyu frowned slightly. Just now, there had been several gods observing the battle, and he had exposed too many of his techniques. By the way, the purple-eyed demonic god suddenly said with a faint smile, "I used a little trick on my way here to conceal the aura within the jurisdiction of the Sea-Watch City. Unless some gods have eyes that can see everything in the universe better than mine, they can only see a blurry image." Suyu's face lit up. "Thank you, purple-eyed demonic god. Ha 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 ha, you're welcome. After witnessing your battle with the book deity, I feel more at ease leaving my successor in your care." The purple-eyed demonic god had made up his mind. Suyu's battle had shown him his amazing strategy, his great potential, and his astounding magical powers. The Tao Tai's eyes and the alternate space were all earth-shattering abilities. In the future, when he developed to the limit, he would definitely surpass the purple-eyed demonic god. Handing over his successor to Suyu might be an unexpected and excellent choice. "Thank you, purple-eyed demonic god. I have a presumptuous request that only you can help me with," Suyu said solemnly. The purple-eyed demonic god chuckled. "Since I've decided to help you with all my might while I'm still alive, just let me know if you need my help. Then I won't stand on ceremony." With a flip of his palm, Suyu retrieved a snow-white letter that he had already written and handed it to the purple-eyed demonic god. "I hope you can help me pass this letter to someone. I need to see her, and I need her help even more." The purple-eyed demonic god was slightly taken aback. He glanced at the name of the recipient, and his pupils constricted fiercely. "It's her." The purple-eyed demonic god looked at Suyu in disbelief. "Are you sure it's her?" "I'm not sure. If it's her, she'll respond," Suyu said. "Only you can do this. Please help me, purple-eyed demonic god." The purple-eyed demonic god held the letter in his hand, and sighed after a long while. If there are a few people in the demonic dimension that I don't want to deal with, one is the demon emperor, and the other is her. This woman is very scary. My intuition tells me that she's as dangerous as the demon emperor. However, if you insist on passing the letter to her, I'll deliver it for you. Thank you. The purple-eyed demonic god left immediately. The black dog narrowed its eyes and stared at Suyu. Boy, you didn't seem to relax after severely injuring the book deity. Instead, your mood has become even heavier? Suyu smiled. The black dog understood Suyu the best. With a deep sigh, Suyu said, "One book deity is already troublesome. If 7 more deities come, it'll be an unsolvable deadlock." You mean the other 7 deities will cooperate with the book deity to deal with you together? The black dog shook its head. It's unlikely. There must be a lot of conflict between the 7 great city masters. It'll be as difficult as ascending to heaven to unite them. Suyu said, "It'll be different if there's the book deity. If I were him, I'd use an irresistible reason to gather the 7 great city masters together to deal with me together." What reason? The black dog was surprised. To purge the emperor's side, Suyu said solemnly. Therefore, I have to go into seclusion and try to break through the mortal fairy realm to achieve a qualitative change in my strength. Otherwise, once the other party strikes, I'm likely to die without a burial place. The book deity wasn't scary, nor were the 7 city masters who had a lot of conflict. However, if the 2 joined forces, it would be too terrifying. The only thing he could do now was to arrange as many backup plans as possible to deal with the fatal blow. In the Demon Cloud City, the book deity, who only had half of his body left, had completely lost the image of a refined scholar. Even his temperament had become gloomy. After being repeatedly defeated by Suyu, the book deity's mentality had changed dramatically. Demon Cloud City Master, Suyu will be a big threat to you in the future. I didn't get to kill him just now. With all due respect, you may regret it one day. The Demon Cloud City Master, who was surrounded by demonic energy, snorted. Do you think I don't want to kill him? You killed my emissary in public and humiliated me. However, if I attack a city master, although I can kill him, the royal family will be alerted. At that time, I'll be more miserable than him. The book deity's eyes shone with shrewdness. He just wanted to test the Demon Cloud City Master's attitude towards Suyu. Well, as long as he had the intention to kill Suyu, it would be fine. If the City Master wants to kill Suyu, I have a plan that will definitely tear Suyu into pieces. Moreover, it will fulfill your wish. The book deity said slowly. The Demon Cloud City Master narrowed his eyes. Fulfill my wish? Tell me, what is my wish? To order the nobles by force. Boom! A few thunders suddenly flashed in the sky, which was caused by the killing intent of the Demon Cloud City Master. If the City Master is willing to adopt this strategy, you can become the actual ruler of the Jinyu realm. The killing intent of the Demon Cloud City Master faded a little, and he said calmly, "Tell me about it. Unite with the other 6 City Masters and attack the Sea-Watch City." The Demon Cloud City Master's expression was calm. 7 cities besieging 1 city. What's the reason for the royal family not to intervene? The reason is to get rid of the nobles and restore order. The book deity's eyes became very gloomy. Announce to the public that Suyu has controlled the 9th princess, who is seriously injured, and intends to seize the entire Jinyu realm. The 7 city masters heard the news and came here to rescue the king, get rid of the nobles, and restore order. Such a reason is fair and above board. Even the royal family can't say no. You can take the opportunity to control the 9th princess, order the nobles by force, and become the secret ruler of the Jinyu realm. The Demon Cloud City Master's eyes shone brightly as he stared at the book deity. How can you be sure that the other 6 city masters are willing to form an alliance? The hatred between them is not small, and it is not easy to form an alliance. It is almost impossible to persuade them. The existence of contradictions is only because of different interests. What if they have common interests? The book deity smiled faintly. The demon cloud city master said slowly, "You mean, let them have the opportunity to order the nobles by force?" "Yes, humans are ambitious. As city masters, they have sent envoys to the Sea-Watch city to bring back the ninth princess. It is obvious that they have ambitions that cannot be concealed in their hearts. It is just that they have no proper reason to act because of their status. Now, with such a reason to get rid of the nobles, there is no need to persuade them. They will naturally form an alliance with each other to attack the Sea-Watch city together and fight for the control of the ninth princess. Among all the city masters, the Demon Cloud City Master is the strongest and has the most advantage. By then, won't the ninth princess fall into your hands?" After listening, the Demon Cloud City Master did not speak for a long time. He stared at the book deity for a long time and said slowly, "My intuition tells me that you are a sinister person who makes me feel threatened and want to strike first. However, I admire your strategy very much, haha." Hearing the laughter of the Demon Cloud City Master, the book deity showed a cold smile. "Suyu, it seems that you can't escape this disaster. The 7 cities joined forces to attack the Sea-Watch city together, and the outcome was set. As Suyu expected, the situation was tilting in an unprecedentedly dangerous direction. What awaited Suyu was the biggest disaster since he entered the demonic dimension. Suyu, who was in seclusion, also felt the existence of the disaster. He had been in seclusion for a month. After being cleansed by many resources, his all-creations cultivation had reached the level of infinite completion. He had touched the barrier of the mortal fairy. It was expected that it would not be easy for him to break through the mortal fairy realm. The aura of the disaster was faintly discernible, reverberating in Suyu's heart, making him feel slightly uneasy. This was because the disaster with this aura seemed familiar. Chapter 1226. Hee, I'm really being hated by some mysterious existence. Suyu couldn't help but reveal a self-mocking smile. When he broke through the fairy realm, he encountered the 3-9 divine tribulations and was almost erased from the world. This time, he encountered another divine tribulation when he broke through to the mortal fairy realm. Theoretically, this would only happen when the descendants of deities broke through to the prospective deity realm. However, Suyu was just an ordinary person. A divine tribulation could happen when he crossed it casually. Who would believe that no one was secretly manipulating it? No matter who you are, the divine tribulation is useless to me now. You can't do anything to me. Suyu looked up at the void and provoked. Now he could kill a middle-stage prospective deity with all his strength. The divine tribulation was prepared for the peak mortal fairies. For Suyu, it was no longer a disaster. It seemed that someone was irritated. The aura of the tribulation became more solid. Someone is manipulating it. Suyu was more certain of his guess. He sneered, "No matter why you are against me, I will remember this. If I have a chance to meet you again, I will pay you back 10 times. When Suyu encountered the 3-9 tribulations, he was almost killed. The danger left an unforgettable memory for Suyu. If he could find out who was manipulating it, he would fight back. Rumble. The clear sky suddenly rumbled with thunder, and bolts of lightning flashed across the sky above Sea-Watch City. The aura of the divine tribulation was getting heavier and heavier. However, it still needed half a month to prepare for the tribulation. 6 months was just enough time for Suyu to prepare. Swish! Suyu took out the 200 drops of divine blood from the book deity and the Star River Scripture. Activating the Star River Scripture required 100 drops of divine blood at a time. Then, he had to sacrifice another 100 drops of blood to the divine-level wild beast. However, after thinking for a while, Suyu put away the Star River Scripture. Although it was powerful to summon a deity-level fighter, it was useless for the alliance of the 7 cities. Instead of that, he might as well use it to water the divine 9-dragon cauldron and see if he could activate the 5th dragon. In fact, Suyu tried to activate the divine blood obtained from the world of divine remains. There were more than 50 drops of divine blood, but the 5th dragon was useless. It seemed that the further one went, the more difficult it would be to activate a dragon. Last time, a drop of divine dragon blood had activated the emerald dragon. This time, the fifth dragon had used 50 drops of divine blood, but it was still difficult to activate. It was clear how difficult it was. However, judging from the abilities that the dragons brought, the more difficult it was to activate the dragons, the greater the anticipation. Suyu calmed himself down and dripped 200 drops of divine blood into the space between his eyebrows one by one. Each drop was absorbed by the divine nine-dragon cauldron. When the divine nine-dragon cauldron reached 50 drops, adding to the previous 50 drops, there was a total of 100 drops. However, there was no reaction from the divine nine-dragon cauldron. It showed no signs of diluting the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Not even 100 drops. Suyu looked at the 150 drops left in his palm. He was extremely patient, and he continued to inject them drop by drop. When another 50 drops were added, the divine nine-dragon cauldron still showed no signs of dilution. Then, he poured in another 50 drops of divine blood. Together with the divine blood from before, there was a total of 200 drops. However, the divine nine-dragon cauldron did not budge at all. Could it be that the divine nine-dragon cauldron's requirements for both the quantity and the quality of the divine blood are increasing? Suyu was surprised. A glint flashed across his eyes as he inserted the last 50 drops of blood essence into the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Buzz, buzz, buzz. To Suyu's delight, after 250 drops of blood, the divine nine-dragon cauldron finally trembled slightly. However, the divine blood that almost overflowed the entire divine nine-dragon cauldron was no longer diluted. Instead, it was compressed. 250 drops of god blood were compressed into one grayish-white drop of blood. Gray divine blood? Suyu was stunned. This was the first time that he had seen gray divine blood. Shouldn't the blood of a deity be golden? When Suyu was curious, the divine nine-dragon cauldron trembled again. The gray divine blood was diluted again, turning into a pot of gray divine blood. The gray divine blood flowed along the wall of the cauldron and slowly flowed through the surface of the fifth dragon, the black dragon. A low and cold dragon roar that made one's hair stand on end slowly resounded in one's heart. A small, pitch-black dragon gradually appeared on Suyu's palm. The dragon exuded a dreadful aura, giving people a very ominous feeling. Staring at the dragon in his palm, Suyu's pupils shrank slightly. This is death. The black dragon represented death. The fourth emerald dragon, which represented life, wandered in the left palm. The fifth black dragon, which represented death, wandered in the right palm. The left hand represented life, and the right hand represented death. I can't believe it's death, Suyu murmured. Among the 8 profound meanings of the heavenly law, Suyu had mastered time, space, soul, life, and death. The abilities brought by the divine nine-dragon cauldron were all related to the profound meanings of the heavenly law. What is the divine nine-dragon cauldron? Suyu thought to himself. At this time, a strange message appeared in Suyu's mind. Just like before, when 1/3 of the black dragon was crystallized, the ability obtained was death. By touching, he could deprive the life of a living creature. The effective range was that the vitality of a living creature did not exceed that of a deity. In other words, Suyu could directly deprive the life of anyone below the level of a deity and put them into the ranks of death. Even if it was a deity, he could also deprive them of half of their vitality. Although it was not enough to kill them, it could injure them. If he encountered a seriously injured and dying deity with less than half of his vitality, the palm of death could directly kill them. The premise was that there was a chance to attack. From Suyu's experience of fighting with prospective deities, it was difficult to imprint the palm of death on them when they were vigilant. As for deities, it was even more difficult. However, even so, it was still a horrifying ability that defied the natural order. Below the level of a deity, there were late-stage prospective deities. Those people were very close to the level of a deity. However, their lives could still be killed by a palm. He hadn't reached the level of a mortal fairy yet, but his strength was comparable to a prospective deity. At the most critical moment, I obtained such an overbearing ability. What a timely reign. Suyu murmured to himself. Knock, knock. At this time, someone knocked on the door of the secret room. City Lord, my father is back, Shur said outside the secret room. Suyu nodded. Okay, I see. Now I need to practice in isolation. If there is nothing urgent, you and your daughter can deal with it by yourselves. City Lord, only my father came back alone, Shur said. Alone? Suyu opened his eyes abruptly. Ask Qianjun to come to see me. Soon, Qianjun knelt on one knee outside the secret room. His eyes were full of shame. Your humble servant, Qianjun, please punish me. Crack. The stone door was opened slowly. A strand of extremely weak remaining death energy leaked out unintentionally. Qianjun, who was kneeling on the ground, shivered suddenly. His life force was almost destroyed by this strand of death energy. What happened? Suyu asked as he looked at Qianjun, who was surrounded by the aura of death. Covered with wounds, Qianjun looked quite embarrassed. At this moment, he was lowering his head in shame. Reporting to the city lord, the person that the city lord dispatched to this lowly one has been detained. Suyu squinted his eyes slightly. Which city lord came to my territory and attacked you? Considering his relationship with the other city lords, it was most likely that he was the one who detained dozens of early-stage prospective deities. No, it was not a city lord. It was the eldest son of the Sea-Watch city lord. The Sea-Watch city lord? So he was a bit surprised. After a while, he asked, the former Sea-Watch city lord left in air? Yes. After the giant of the bitter sea came ashore, the Sea-Watch city lord transferred all his heirs to the city of the demon emperor in case of any accidents. But for some reason, his successor, the eldest young master, suddenly returned and forcefully detained all of our people. The heir of the Sea-Watch deity? So he was thinking about it. How strong is he? A late-stage prospective deity. Suyu's eyes flickered. So, he deliberately let you come back to deliver the message? Dozens of early-stage prospective deities were detained. It didn't make sense that Qianjun could escape. Yes, Qianjun said. Tell me. Qianjun blamed himself and said angrily. The eldest son said that if you want those loyal subordinates, you should go to the Demon Cloud City. The 7 city lords will gather in the Demon Cloud City and hold a meeting. They invited you to join them. In order to prevent Suyu from attending the meeting, they used those early-stage prospective deities as a threat. My lord, don't be fooled. When I was carrying out my mission, I heard that the 7 city lords have been in close contact with each other in the past month. It is very likely that they are conspiring against you. Qianjun said, My lord, you will be in danger if you go there. Suyu waved his hand. If they want to kill me, they don't have to invite me to attend the meeting. They would have joined forces to kill me. Why do they need to do this? I guess they have some concerns and are preparing to use peaceful means before resorting to force. If they can force me to hand over the princess with words, they don't have to take the risk to clean up the emperor's side. After all, it is risky for the royal family to investigate. With just a few words, Suyu had analyzed most of the other party's motives. He was sure that the Demon Cloud City Master would attack the city directly and take the opportunity to kill Suyu to avenge his humiliation. Among the rest of the deities, there should be 1 or 2 powerful deities who would be cautious and adopt a conservative strategy. In this case, my lord, you don't have to pay attention to them. Anyway, you won't hand over her highness to them. Nothing will come out of this meeting, Qianjun said. Suyu said with a smile, That's not true. This meeting is exactly what I want. I was worried that I wouldn't have a chance to talk to them. Ha! God is on my side. Qianjun opened his mouth. In his opinion, this meeting was full of danger. However, in Suyu's eyes, it was an opportunity. You stay in the city. I will go there. An hour later, Suyu cleaned up a little. Then, he crossed the city and landed in the territory of the Demon Cloud City by using the transportation portal. He didn't go to the mansion immediately. After all, there were still several days before the meeting. Chapter 12:27. Oh, I was surprised that he came here so early. I thought he would stall for time until the purple-eyed demonic god came back. The luminous Moon City Master said with a smile as he looked at the Demon Cloud City Master, who was sitting beside him with his eyes closed. The luminous Moon City Master was the one who suggested using peaceful means before resorting to force to reduce the risk. Hearing that, the Demon Cloud City Master snorted. Things have become so troublesome because you are afraid. The luminous Moon City Master was second only to the Demon Cloud City Master. He could influence 3 deities in the Jinyu realm. Therefore, the Demon Cloud City Master had to consider the luminous Moon City Master's suggestion. I'm just thinking for your sake. I don't think it will be bad for you if the royal family investigates you. The luminous Moon City Master said with a smile. The Demon Cloud City Master snorted coldly. This is not our top priority now. The meeting will start in 3 days. Don't you think it's strange that he came here in advance? The Blazing Sun City Master said as his eyes lit up. Hearing that, the deities fell silent. If they were Suyu, they would definitely come to the meeting after hearing the news. However, Suyu came to the Demon Cloud City in advance, as if he couldn't wait. The Demon Cloud City Master said slowly, "It is said that this guy is very cunning and good at defeating stronger opponents. Now that he has come to the Demon Cloud City in advance, we must be careful." The luminous Moon City Master agreed. Right, I saw the battle a month ago. This guy is really cunning. We can send someone to spy on him and see what he is doing in the city. This was the territory of the Demon Cloud City Master, so it was easy for him to spy on Suyu. On the first day, the spy came back to report. Where did he go? Who did he meet? What did he say? The Demon Cloud City Master asked. The spy replied, he went to the scenic spots in the Demon Cloud City. He didn't meet or talk to anyone. Scenic spots? The deities in the area were curious. He came to the Demon Cloud City in advance without worrying about his safety. Instead, he went on a sightseeing tour. Could the Sea-Watch City Master be so careless? How could he not sense danger? A deity asked. Spy on him again, the Demon Cloud City Master said as he frowned. If Suyu had acted as if he was facing a formidable enemy, he would not have been so vigilant. However, Suyu's relaxed demeanor caused him to become vigilant. The next day, the surveillance personnel came back to report. What did he do today? The Demon Cloud City Master asked. We went to the biggest restaurant in the city to eat, drink, and have fun. The various gods sank into contemplation. How could he still keep his composure? Now, all the deities were on guard. What was the Sea-Watch City Lord trying to do? Search again, the Demon Cloud City Master said indifferently. On the third day, the surveillance personnel returned. Reporting to the City Lord, he got drunk at the Fragrant Breeze brothel today and spent the whole day with several famous figures. He hasn't gone out since then. All the gods fell silent. On the first day, they went sightseeing. On the second day, they ate, drank, and had fun in restaurants. On the third day, they simply played with women. Was he really aware of his situation? Or, even though he was aware of it, he didn't care? He looked so relaxed. Do you think he is confident? The luminous Moon City Master, who was the most cautious among them, asked timely. Among the gods, the more conservative ones made guesses. That's quite possible. Otherwise, it would be hard to explain how he could be so carefree. We can't forget that he has the 9th princess under his control. If the 9th princess borrows power from the royal family to help him. With this concern, they who had mobilized a large number of people could not help but feel weak. Humph! Look how scared you are. The Demon Cloud City Master snorted. He is just an ordinary person. What kind of background can he have? As for the 9th princess, she can't even protect herself. How could she help the Sea-Watch City Master? Right? What the Demon Cloud City Master said makes sense. Anyway, the meeting will be held tomorrow. Let's talk to him face to face. That way, we can find out more about him. The next day, a meeting to decide the future peace of the Jinyu realm was held in the mansion of the Demon Cloud City Master without anyone knowing. The 7 gods were still in the mansion. A young half-purebred demon was standing respectfully behind the 7 gods. The meeting is about to begin. Go and invite the Sea-Watch City Master to the reception room. The Demon Cloud City Master ordered indifferently. He and the other gods did not move. The luminous Moon City Master said with a smile, Should we prepare to leave? Why are you in such a hurry? The Demon Cloud City Master said calmly. We are all city masters at the level of deities. A despicable city master like the Feather Demon can't be compared with us. Why can't we ask him to wait for us? Moreover, this can dampen his spirit, which is beneficial for the negotiation. The Luminous Moon City Master agreed because he thought it was reasonable. Soon, the man from the Demon Cloud City arrived at the Fragrant Breeze restaurant where Suyu was drunk. He knocked on the door of Suyu's room and thought Suyu was unconscious. However, Suyu had already woken up. Wearing a white robe, he was sipping tea quietly and elegantly. Then he said without turning his head, "Has the meeting begun?" The man was stunned. It seems he already knows who I am. Or, he has seen the surveillance of me for several days. Yes. Sea-Watch City Master, please come to the mansion. No, I will change the venue to this place, Suyu said calmly. The newcomer was dumbfounded. But 7 gods have set the location of the meeting at the Demon Cloud City's mansion. That is the place for the meeting. Suyu squinted at him and said, You also know that the meeting place was decided by the 7 deities. Did they ever ask for my opinion? I want the meeting to be held in this place. But the man was speechless. He thought to himself, Who do you think you are in front of the 7 deities? Do you think you have a choice in the place for the meeting? No buts. I will only wait for 2 hours. If they don't come, I will go back. Suyu interrupted him in an overbearing manner. The man was dumbfounded. He thought to himself, Is the Sea-Watch City Master out of his mind? He doesn't have any self-awareness. How could the 7 deities accommodate him? The man was indignant. However, he had no choice but to go back to the secret room. The 7 deities hadn't left yet. Seeing the man who had been sent back, he thought Suyu had been summoned. The Demon Cloud City Master said sarcastically, Don't be hasty. Let's wait for a while and discuss how to deter him. Now, he must be intimidated by us. If we attack him verbally, he won't dare to be stubborn again. Lord City Master, the Sea-Watch City Master, the Demon Cloud City Master waved his hand. Okay, you can leave now. Beads of sweat appeared on the forehead of the man who had been sent back. Then he said cautiously, Lord City Master, the Sea-Watch City Master, the Demon Cloud City Master was a bit displeased. Then he stared at the man who had been sent back. There are several deities in this place. How could you be so wishy-washy? The man who had been sent back knew the Demon Cloud City Master would be angry if he didn't leave now. However, he also knew the Demon Cloud City Master wouldn't just be angry with him if he didn't tell the Demon Cloud City Master the truth and delayed the meeting of the deities. The Sea-Watch City Master didn't come. He has ordered the city lords to go and see him, and only wait for 2 hours. Otherwise, they will be sent back. In order to prevent being interrupted, the person who was sent spoke quickly and finished in one breath. After that, the whole secret room fell into silence. The deities looked at each other in surprise. They almost thought they had heard it wrong. They had just planned to intimidate Suyu. However, Suyu changed the place of the meeting at the last minute and ordered the 7 deities to meet him in person. Moreover, he didn't wait for anyone who was late. In comparison, the deities couldn't help but feel like Suyu was the superior deity, while they were the lowly commoners. The deities were so surprised that they fell into an awkward silence for a while. Then, the Demon Cloud City Master shouted angrily, How dare you! The man who had been sent back was so scared that he knelt down on one knee and begged for mercy. What I said is true. These are the words of the Sea-Watch City Master. The Demon Cloud City Master became more and more annoyed. He thought, Why didn't you tell me earlier? The man who had been sent back said to himself, You should have told me earlier. Go again. Tell him that if he doesn't come back in 10 minutes, he will bear the consequences. The Demon Cloud City Master shouted. He didn't approve of the meeting at all. Now, Suyu's ungrateful behavior had successfully irritated him. At this time, a man stood up. Lord, how about I go there? I really want to see who the person who instigated my father to be the city master is. The deities looked at him and thought for a while. Then, they nodded their heads slightly. Fine. Liang, you will invite him here. As the city masters, we can accommodate him. Yes, Lord, Liang said with a meaningful smile. The Luminous Moon City Master frowned. If you have to fight with him, don't embarrass him too much. Yes, Lord, Li Ying said with a smile. When he left the secret room, he said coldly, Humph, the position of the Sea-Watch City Master is mine. Who do you think you are, the you-demon? How dare you steal what belongs to me? Humph. When he arrived at the Fragrant Breeze restaurant, Li Ying walked to Su Yu's room slowly. After staring at the room for a while, Li Ying kicked open the door of the room. Then he saw what was going on in the room. The silver-haired demon in the room acted as if nothing had happened. Then he said calmly while sipping his tea leisurely with his back to Li Ying, You still have 1 hour? The deities didn't come back. It was another man who had summoned him. How arrogant you are. Ask the deities to come here to see you, Li Ying said as he walked into the room with his hands clasped behind his back. Then he stood 30 feet behind Su Yu and said, People who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth usually die faster. Which one are you? Su Yu turned around and looked at him. Then he said expressionlessly, Go back. You only have 1 hour. Don't miss it. Humph. Put away your arrogance and immediately come with me to see the city lords, if you still want your 40 loyal subordinates. Li Ying pursed his lips into a line, and a cold look appeared in his eyes. He was trying to provoke Su Yu. If Su Yu attacked him out of anger, he could fight with Su Yu openly and trample him to the ground. This was the first step for him to regain the position of the Sea-Watch City Master. At least, he wanted to prove to the world that he was more powerful than Su Yu. However, Su Yu was still calm. Then he said calmly, The fact that they were all subdued by you means they are a group of useless subordinates. It's not a pity to lose them. You can do whatever you want with them. Chapter 1228. Li Ying's eyes lit up. He was waiting for Su Yu's anger after being humiliated. Then he could attack Su Yu justifiably. Arrogant villain? If you can regain the glory of being the son of the former city master by doing this, you can think whatever you want, Su Yu said calmly. He was not angry at all. Li Ying was touched by Su Yu's words. He laughed angrily and said, What a sharp tongue you have. I am warning you for the last time. Come with me immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for using force. I know you have some great magical powers that can subdue a medium-stage prospective deity. However, in my opinion, it is just a small trick. Don't force me to attack you. Because of your nonsense, I have decided to shorten the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea. Well, there is only half a cup of tea left, Su Yu said calmly. Li Ying was completely irritated. This was exactly what Su Yu wanted. Su Yu did not know what was good for him and forced him to capture Su Yu. You asked for it. Underneath Li Ying's furious face was a sneer. He had been waiting for this moment. However, when his palm was about to hit Su Yu's body was filled with colorful lights. Then, he teleported and disappeared. Li Ying's attack missed him. Teleportation. Li Ying was a little surprised. Then, he sneered. Teleportation in front of me? What a joke. His eyes were like lightning. He glanced in a certain direction and grinned. Then, his figure disappeared on the spot. When Su Yu appeared, he appeared behind Su Yu like a shadow. Then he grabbed Su Yu's back fiercely and quickly. Su Yu's face was calm. Then he disappeared again with colorful lights shining on his body. Li Ying missed him again. Li Ying snorted coldly. Then he teleported to catch up with Su Yu. The two of them teleported from the Fragrant Breeze restaurant to the sky above the city. Although Li Ying had the powerful cultivation of a later-stage prospective deity, Su Yu's teleportation ability was not inferior to his. Therefore, Li Ying could not catch Su Yu at all. After the time it took to drink half a cup of tea, Su Yu teleported again and said calmly, 2 hours have passed. I am sorry that the city masters could not attend the meeting. I am sorry. Please tell the city masters that there is no need for the meeting anymore. As he spoke, Su Yu teleported to the Transportation Great Hall and activated the formation to prepare for the transportation. How could Li Ying allow Li Ying to abandon the meeting? With a low grunt, he teleported over to intercept Su Yu's teleportation. However, right at that moment, an astonishing evil energy shot out of Su Yu's forehead, while a giant dog's paw slapped Li Ying back. Hee, you've only broken through to the late-stage prospective deity level after inheriting your father's Shinto path. How weak. The black dog saw through Li Ying's actual situation at a glance. The prospective gods who inherited their father Shinto were often incomparable to the prospective gods who became gods independently. The former's inheritance of Shinto was not as good as the previous generations, while the latter was a complete Shinto, so it was needless to say who was stronger and who was weaker. "Who are you?" Li Ying shouted. The black dog scoffed. "Hurry up and go back. You should thank me for saving your life." If Suyu had attacked, Li Ying would have been dead by now. Haha, what a joke. A mere remnant soul of a deity dares to boast shamelessly and spout nonsense. Li Ying laughed sinisterly. He let out an angry roar and prepared to rush forward again. However, the transportation portal beneath Su Yu's feet instantly teleported away, leaving behind Su Yu's echoing words. "Tell the 7 city masters that there's nothing to talk about. Don't waste my time anymore. Let them attack the Sea Watch City. I will wait for them, and they will not be able to return alive." Humph! A bunch of shameless B** starts. Li Ying was angry and anxious. He was angry that he failed to teach Suyu a lesson. Now, he was anxious that Suyu had really left. How could he explain to his superiors? Right at that moment, 7 beams of divine light appeared in the surroundings at the same time. As deities, how could they not know that a great war had taken place here? The 7 city masters looked gloomy. They had thought Suyu was just bluffing when he said he would not wait for them. They didn't expect Suyu would really leave. Wasn't he afraid that the 7 city masters would kill him if the negotiation failed? The negotiation ended before it started, which was totally out of the plan of the deities. The luminous Moon City Master stared at Li Ying coldly. "You are a failure. You can't even handle such a small matter. How could you expect us to support you to manage the Sea Watch City?" Then he stared at the Demon Cloud City Master angrily. "Now, as you wished, there's no need for the negotiation anymore." Humph! If you don't want to negotiate, then forget it. The 7 city masters will join hands in the name of protecting the Emperor. Who are we afraid of? The Luminous Moon City Master said with a cold smile. "Don't count the Luminous Moon City in. I don't want to risk the royal family's wrath with you. Goodbye. The Baiwa City will not participate in this, either. Goodbye. The Lingxin City will also withdraw from the alliance. Goodbye. The Fansai City will withdraw from the alliance. Sorry to disappoint you, Demon Cloud City Master." Seeing the Luminous Moon City Master leading the others to withdraw from the alliance, the Demon Cloud City Master said gloomily. When the Fansai City Master also announced his withdrawal, the Demon Cloud City Master said with a pale face, "Fansai City Master, why did you?" Before this, the Fansai City Master had agreed to attack the alliance directly. Now he announced his withdrawal. The Demon Cloud City Master knew it was Su Yu's performance that had frightened them. 3 days of idling, arrogant, and domineering during the negotiation, and the threatening words he left just now had shaken their minds. Especially the last sentence, which threatened to kill the city masters who attacked the alliance. How confident was Su Yu to say such cruel words? As a result, the Fansai City Master, who had planned to attack the alliance directly, chose to withdraw because of fear. In just 3 days, the alliance of 7 cities, which had the same goal, fell apart in the blink of an eye. The unexpected situation made the Demon Cloud City Master's face turn extremely pale. How could this be? Li Ying looked at the situation that had gone out of control in a daze. He knew how stable the alliance of 7 cities was before. Every deity wanted to take the princess away from them. They could even let go of the old hatred between them because of this. However, Su Yu came to the Demon Cloud City and didn't even meet the 7 city masters. Then, the alliance of 7 cities collapsed. "Good, you demon," as the book deity said, "you can hurt people invisibly and kill people from thousands of miles away." The Demon Cloud City Master said angrily. After returning to the mansion, the book deity came to the secret room where the book deity was resting. The book deity looked at the Demon Cloud City Master's face and was slightly surprised. Did something happen? The Demon Cloud City Master nodded and told the book deity what had happened. After hearing that, The book deity sighed and shook his head. You shouldn't have given him any chance to breathe. How stupid are you to choose to negotiate with him? Such a scheming person can only be killed by thunderous means. You try to negotiate with him. Alas, you are asking for death. The Demon Cloud City Master said coldly, I didn't come here to listen to your sarcasm. Tell me, what should we do now? Only the 3 cities are willing to attack. It is likely that it will be regarded as internal strife. At that time, the royal family will investigate. Chapter 1229. However, he was in the same boat with the Demon Cloud City Master now. Therefore, he said, I suggest you start the operation to eliminate the Emperor's followers immediately. Don't hesitate. This kid is very shrewd and has always taken every possibility into account. It's very likely that the situation of all of you falling apart is within his expectations. I'm worried that separating all of you is only the first step. You must not give him the time and opportunity for the next step. The Demon Cloud City Master didn't say anything. He walked out of the secret room quietly with a struggling look in his eyes. Should he give up on this operation, or should he choose to take the risk? Should he believe the book deity's words? Is that guy really so horrible? The Demon Cloud City Master, who was the #1 city master of the Jinyu realm, was definitely not a reckless man. Therefore, he didn't follow the book deity's suggestion to attack the Sea Watch city immediately. Instead, he chose to make a long-term plan. However, he didn't know he had made an irreversible mistake by not listening to the book deity's advice. Su Yu's operation was exactly as the book deity had predicted. The luminous Moon City Master returned to his mansion in a bad mood. No one expected the alliance would end on a bad note. Although he was a little bit regretful, he didn't regret his decision. City Master, an honorable guest is waiting for you. When the luminous Moon City Master returned to his mansion, a servant came up to him and said, The luminous Moon City Master was a bit surprised. Honorable guest? Who? The Sea Watch City Master. The luminous Moon City Master changed his expression abruptly. What? It's him. Didn't Suyu return to the Sea Watch City? Why did he come to his mansion before me? Moreover, how dare he come to my mansion? The luminous Moon City Master squinted his eyes and said as he stared at the servant, Remember, no one is here today. No honorable guest. Yes, sir. The servant understood tacitly. The next moment, the luminous Moon City Master glanced at the mansion. After confirming Su Yu's location, he teleported to Su Yu's front. Su Yu was playing with a teacup in his hand, looking extremely bored. Sensing the fluctuation of the divine light, he raised his head slowly. Luminous Moon City Master, I've been waiting for you for a long time. The luminous Moon City Master squinted his eyes and said as he stared at Su Yu, You are really bold. How dare you come to my mansion when you know the conspiracy of the 7 Cities Alliance? Aren't you afraid that this god will make sure that you won't be able to return? Haha, it's precisely because I know what you're plotting that I dare to come here so boldly. Su Yu chuckled. Don't you just want to threaten the Emperor and order the nobles? Why go through so much trouble? I'll let Her Highness the Empress write an edict to authorize you to temporarily manage the Jinyu realm. Isn't that far better than you taking the risk of holding Her Highness the Empress hostage? The prerequisite is that you dare to accept such an edict. If the luminous Moon City Master became the acting administrator of the Jinyu realm, would the Demon Cloud City Master, who is the most powerful, agree? At that time, how could the luminous Moon City convince the public? He was afraid that it would be the luminous Moon City Master who would be purged. Hearing this, the luminous Moon City Master's eyes lit up. Staring at Su Yu, he asked, Do you have a way to persuade Her Highness to issue such an edict? It's already written. I can only announce it to the world. The luminous Moon City Lord's eyes lit up as he asked, Do you have a way to help me get the edict? Yes. The luminous Moon City Master stared at Su Yu and asked, What is it? Can't you just kill all the city lords who can threaten you? The only one who can threaten you is the Demon Cloud City Master. Once he is dead, you will be the most powerful person in the Jinyu realm. Let me ask you, who will refuse to accept you as the temporary administrator of the Jinyu realm? Su Yu's eyes were filled with coldness. The luminous Moon City Master took a deep breath and said unhappily, "You want me to help you kill the Demon Cloud City Master. That's why you are here today, isn't it?" He didn't deny that the Demon Cloud City Master was his biggest threat. "Ha! Ha! We both want to kill someone. It will be beneficial for both of us if we cooperate," Suyu said with a faint smile. The luminous Moon City Master said as he squinted his eyes, "If I cooperate with the Demon Cloud City Master to kill you, I will get the same benefits. However, did you defeat the Demon Cloud City Master in the fight for the throne of Her Highness?" "That's impossible," Suyu said calmly. The luminous Moon City Master said as he squinted his eyes, "Do you think I can kill him if I cooperate with you?" "Exactly. If you cooperate with him, he will definitely be wary of you. You won't find a chance to kill him. However, what if you cooperate with me secretly? If you give him a fatal blow when he least expects it, you will have a higher chance of killing him." After saying that, Suyu said nothing and waited for the luminous Moon City Master to make up his mind. The luminous Moon City Master fell silent. Apparently, he was tempted by Suyu's offer. "One last question. Do you have a backup plan?" the luminous Moon City Master asked. The Demon Cloud City Master is not a simple man. He knows some people in the Demon Emperor's city. If we use their connections to kill him, things will get tricky. Ha! 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 Unfortunately, I also know some people of the royal family. The luminous Moon City Master's eyelids twitched violently. He thought to himself, "No wonder he is so arrogant." "Who?" Suyu's lips moved. The luminous Moon City Master, who was reading Suyu's lips, was surprised. "What? I didn't expect it was that, Lord. It's up to you whether you want to cooperate with me or not," Suyu said with a faint smile as he took out an edict of the Ninth Princess. The luminous Moon City Master fixed his eyes on the edict. The Ninth Princess's jade seal couldn't be forged. Now, as long as Suyu instilled some divine energy into the edict would be announced to the world. The luminous Moon City Master swallowed his saliva. This was exactly what the luminous Moon City Master wanted. Demon Cloud City Master. The luminous Moon City Master said resolutely as he grabbed the edict. "Fine. I will help you kill him. From now on, I will follow your orders." "Ha! Ha! Good. If you can rope in more city masters, you will have a greater chance of winning." The luminous Moon City Master made up his mind after getting the edict. "Don't worry. I will try my best to rope in them. I am not sure about the Fansai City Master. However, I am sure I can rope in the other 3 city masters who have withdrawn from the alliance." "Great. Let's wait for an opportunity patiently." They didn't have to wait for too long. After hesitating for a while, the Demon Cloud City Master made up his mind. After discussing with the other 2 deities, he said, "Let's do it in 1 month." After returning to the Sea Watch City, Suyu started his secluded cultivation immediately. The Demon Cloud City Master was about to strike. Although he had alienated the luminous Moon City Master as the most powerful city master in the Jingyu realm, the strength of the Demon Cloud City Master was still unknown. It was unknown whether the luminous Moon City Master and the other city masters could kill him. It was far from enough to rely on them. The most important thing was Suyu's strength. Therefore, he had to prepare for the tribulation. As time passed, the aura of the tribulation became more and more intense. 12 days later, the aura of the divine tribulation finally reached its peak. In the sky above the Sea Watch City, layers of thick demonic clouds gathered from all directions. Accompanied by thunder and lightning, the entire Sea Watch City was plunged into darkness. Chapter 1230. At the same time, another huge demonic cloud rolled over. In the demonic cloud, 3 deities stood proudly without any concealment of their divine light. After preparing for half a month, the Demon Cloud City Master finally decided to take the risk. In the name of eliminating the Emperor, he would launch a destructive attack on the Sea Watch City, seize the opportunity to capture the 9th Princess, and control the Jingyu realm. "You demon, your good days are over." Liang looked ferocious. "The position of the city master that belongs to me will be stained with your blood." Liang thought to himself, "Demon Cloud City Master, after I take back the position of the city master, I will follow your lead." As for the deities who didn't come, humph. You are welcome, Liang. The Sea-Watch City Master died tragically, and the position of the City Master was taken by a scoundrel. As the heir of the City Master, I am very pleased that you are willing to come back from the Demon Imperial City to fight against the scoundrel. But don't worry, the Sea-Watch City belongs to you, and this will not change. As for the Luminous Moon City Master and the others, humph, they're a bunch of cowards who don't care about the safety of the Ninth Princess. After I rescue the Ninth Princess, I will definitely fight against them. The Demon Cloud City Master's words were so high-sounding that those who didn't know the truth would think that they were really here to eradicate the scoundrel. At this time, they arrived near the Sea-Watch City. Looking at the dark sky with rolling tribulation clouds, Li Ying said in surprise, "Crossing the divine tribulation? Is there a descendant of a deity breaking through the prospective deity realm? And he should be a descendant of a deity who has declined." Usually, when the descendants of deities cross the divine tribulation, they would be protected by their elder deities to reduce the risk of dying under the divine tribulation. However, in the Sea-Watch City, where there were no deities, only the descendants of the deities who had lost the protection of their elders could cross the divine tribulation. Looking at the powerful tribulation clouds, the Demon Cloud City Master said in surprise, "Good tribulation clouds, at least a 4th grade divine tribulation." Li Ying also praised. A descendant of a deity who has declined can still inherit more than 50% of his elder's divine path. How rare! The strength of the divine tribulation depended on the strength of the divine path inherited by the descendants of the deities. The more divine tribulation they inherited, the more terrible the divine tribulation would be. Li Ying had inherited his father's divine Tao, which was the highest among his siblings. He had a 50% chance of passing the divine Tao. When he underwent the divine tribulation, it was a grade 4 divine tribulation. However, he was only able to inherit 50% of the divine path under the careful guidance of his seniors. On the other hand, a descendant of a declining god had relied on himself to figure out 50% of the divine path, which showed how high his natural talent was. The higher the grade of the divine tribulation, the more complete the inheritance of the divine path will be after the tribulation. A 4th grade divine tribulation is not bad. The Demon Cloud City Master said with a faint smile, "My eldest son inherited 80% of my divine path. When he was going through the divine tribulation, he encountered a 3rd grade divine tribulation. The person in front of me is not bad. However, as soon as the Demon Cloud City Master finished speaking, a huge tribulation cloud suddenly rolled over their heads. The tribulation cloud was no longer pitch black, but fiery red. It was like a ball of burning flames that merged with the black tribulation cloud above the city. 2-colored tribulation cloud? The Demon Cloud City Master was shocked. 2-colored tribulation cloud will form a 3rd grade divine tribulation. Li Ying was taken aback. What? A 3rd grade divine tribulation? Who was this person? He inherited 80% of his father's divine path. Is he really a descendant of a declining god? The Demon Cloud City Master looked around and waved his hand. Let's stop for the time being. Don't disturb his breakthrough. After inheriting 80% of the divine path and becoming a god, his strength would not be much weaker than his father's. If he could recruit this descendant of a declining god, he would definitely be a powerful subordinate in the future. Seeing that the Demon Cloud City Master had taken the initiative to cherish this talent, Li Ying was a little jealous. He said, "This is not a good idea. We still have a lot to do, don't worry. The Feather Demon can't do anything to us. We are not in a hurry to attack the Sea-Watch City. Let's see how this genius, who can attract 3rd grade tribulation cloud, is going through the divine tribulation." The Demon Cloud City Master waved his hand. At this moment, suddenly, a snow-white, majestic tribulation cloud, which exuded a terrible aura of destruction, rolled over their heads and merged with the 2-colored tribulation cloud above the Sea-Watch City. 3-colored tribulation cloud. The Demon Cloud City Master's eyes flashed. Only the descendant of a god who has inherited all the divine path will attract the 3-colored tribulation cloud. Hiss, the one who is going through the divine path, must be a dragon among men. Even with the guidance of their elders, few descendants of gods could completely inherit all the divine path. However, this descendant of a declining god could integrate all the divine paths, which was simply a miracle. A trace of excitement flashed in the demon cloud city master's eyes. This time I found a great genius. However, at this moment, the demon cloud city master suddenly looked at the sky behind him, and his pupils gradually shrank to the size of a needle. He saw a green tribulation cloud rumbling. At this moment, even the demon cloud city master was shocked. Four-colored tribulation cloud. How is this possible? Three-colored tribulation cloud inherited all the divine paths. Four-colored tribulation cloud surpassed the divine paths that were inherited. Four-colored tribulation cloud only existed in legends. Those who could attract four-colored tribulation cloud were all arrogant geniuses who had dominated several eras and were superior to all the descendants of the contemporary gods. There are only a few records in the history of the demon realm, and all of them verified this statement. Because the few people recorded in the history were all demon emperors who had been dominating the world for thousands of years. Now, a descendant of a declining god showed a peerless talent comparable to the young demon emperor. Even the demon cloud city master couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. This kind of genius would definitely soar into the sky one day. If he could make use of this genius in his youth, then the demon cloud city master couldn't help but be excited. As a deity, he hadn't been excited by anything for a long time. After a long time, the demon cloud city master couldn't help but burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, the heavens are on my side. I didn't expect to meet such a rare genius. Step back immediately. Don't cause any changes in the divine tribulation, which will affect him. Standing there, the demon cloud city master said with a smile, when he can't stand it anymore, I will save his life. Suyu raised his head and looked at the four-colored tribulation cloud. He wasn't surprised at all. This is the most you can do to me, right? Ha ha. Let's see what you can do to me. Suyu murmured in a low voice, as if he was talking to a mysterious being. Boom. It seemed like Suyu's words had infuriated him. The four-colored tribulation cloud surged rapidly. Then, a four-colored vortex was formed in the center of the tribulation cloud. In the center of the vortex, a demon who was covered by four-colored divine light descended slowly. Although he was a demon, he looked exactly like a human being, so you couldn't tell the difference between him and a human being. There was only one kind of demon who looked like a human being, the royal family of the demon race. Chapter 1231. Liang, who was standing aside, said in surprise, I can't believe it's the young demon emperor. The demon cloud city master nodded. Right. It is said that the first-grade divine tribulation is the incarnation of the former demon emperor, which contains all the magical powers of the young demon emperor. Unless the one who is going through the divine tribulation is more powerful than the former demon emperor, he can't succeed. That's why the demon emperors of the realm of demons are more powerful than the previous one. Anyone who can pass the divine tribulation successfully will be more powerful than the former demon emperors. The young demon emperor he is facing now should be the former demon emperor when he was young. Liang was shocked. Can he pass the divine tribulation successfully? The demon cloud city master frowned. Maybe he has a slim chance, because he is facing the former demon emperor. If he is facing the current demon emperor, he will definitely die. Liang was full of respect for the current demon emperor. The current demon emperor was the most powerful demon emperor in the history of the realm of demons. In the past thousands of years, no one could rival the current demon emperor. He was a peerless supreme being who could destroy the souls of deities with a single glance. No matter how powerful the one who was going through the divine tribulation was, he couldn't be compared with the current demon emperor. When the current demon emperor was going through the divine tribulation, he defeated the former demon emperor with 3 movements. I wonder whether this one can survive 10 movements from the former demon emperor. The demon cloud city master said. The incarnation of the young demon emperor was at the peak of the mortal fairy level. However, The dangerous aura he emitted was much more powerful than many medium-stage prospective deities. Su Yu's pupils contracted a bit. Who was this person in the royal family? How could he be so powerful? Growl! The young demon emperor roared in a low voice. His body was covered with thousands of red meridians. Su Yu was quite familiar with this scene. It was the unique bloodline power of the purebred demon clan. However, the young demon emperor's whole body was red, which was much more powerful than those purebred demon clan members. Endless red energy formed a 300-meter-tall red giant on the surface of his body. Along with a low roar, a red light beam shot out from his eyes and pierced through Su Yu. Swish! Su Yu, who was covered with 5-color divine light, dodged the dangerous attack. At the same time, he teleported to the shoulder of the giant. A colorful spear condensed in his palm and pierced through the giant's body with the power of assimilation. To Su Yu's surprise, the energy body of the demon clan's royal family, which was also condensed by the blood-red energy, was unusually solid. The assimilation power was very difficult. It only managed to assimilate a small part of the blood-red energy, leaving only a small hole. The blood-red giant bellowed angrily, while dozens of long blood-red tentacles extended out of its body and thrust toward Su Yu. Su Yu immediately teleported away and thought to himself, "Is the royal family of the demon race so difficult to deal with?" He didn't realize that he was not facing an ordinary royal member of the demon tribe, but the young demon emperor. Blood-colored tentacles were everywhere, extending to the horizon and covering the entire territory of Sea-Watch City, causing the heavens and the earth to fall into the color of blood. Su Yu kept teleporting. The Nine Suns sword formation was enveloped by the power of assimilation. It was like 9 5-colored blazing suns were revolving around Su Yu, cutting off the attacking tentacles. However, Su Yu was at a complete disadvantage. From afar, it looked like a boundless blood cloud was slowly devouring a struggling moth. No matter how they struggled, they couldn't escape the fate of being devoured. Bang! Su Yu didn't have time to teleport away. His body was penetrated by a tentacle. Su Yu shouted in a low voice. At this critical moment, he activated the 5 Elements mountain to protect himself. The tentacle was bounced off the 5 Elements mountain. However, the enormous force carried by the tentacle was transmitted to Su Yu. Puff! Su Yu was seriously injured. With a groan, a crack appeared on his body, from which blood was gushing out. He is about to die. It is quite impressive that he can withstand 2 attacks from me. The Demon Cloud City Master squinted his eyes and was about to save Su Yu. However, at this moment, the colorful tribulation cloud surged again and formed an enormous vortex again. This time, a white-faced scholar of the royal family of the demon race descended slowly from the vortex. Looking at this person, Su Yu didn't know why his heart trembled and he felt deeply uneasy. The Demon Cloud City Master and Li Ying, who were watching the battle from afar, couldn't help but gasp. That is the young demon emperor. The young supreme demon of the realm of demons had arrived. How could this be? 2 young demon emperors appeared at the same time. One of them is the most powerful supreme demon of all times. The Demon Cloud City Master widened his eyes in disbelief as he stared at Su Yu, who was surrounded by 2 young demon emperors. Then, he murmured, "This is impossible. Only one young demon emperor will appear in the 1st grade divine tribulation. Why are there 2 of them here?" The former young demon emperor was powerful enough to kill Su Yu thousands of times. If the number 1 young demon emperor of all ages appeared, Su Yu would definitely die a horrible death. However, at this moment, another enormous vortex appeared in the magnificent, colorful tribulation cloud. Then, a young monk who was covered by the aura of death descended slowly from the vortex. He looked calm and aloof, as if he didn't belong to the realm of demons. Li Ying was stunned a bit. Who is that? Is there such a person in the royal family of the demon race? Su Yu's pupils constricted abruptly. The death deity! The familiar aura of death and the familiar silhouette were none other than the death deity of the world of divine remains. He was the only death deity who could rival the demon emperor in the galaxy. Why did this young man appear here? This is the realm of demons. The opponents created by the divine tribulations are all from the realm of demons. The death deity. So he was shocked. Suddenly, an incredible thought flashed through his mind. Could it be that the death deity is... Suyu's eyes lit up when he thought of this. It seemed he had discovered a great secret. However, the divine tribulation this time was quite amazing. 2 young demon emperors and a young death deity. Among the 3 young demon emperors, one was the #1 demon emperor in the galaxy, the other was the death deity who could rival the demon emperor, and the last one was the former young demon emperor who was second only to the 3 of them. In the history of the galaxy, they were the 3 most outstanding supreme beings. When they were young, they besieged a junior who was only at the peak of the all-creation realm. This divine tribulation had never happened before. Suyu wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth as he looked at the colorful tribulation cloud, which had stopped boiling. Then, he said coldly, "This is your limit, right? Then, open your eyes and take a good look." Suyu shouted in a low voice. Then, he put his palms together and started to move his fingers. Then, a giant tree appeared behind him. The giant tree's crown was so huge that it covered everything in the world in green brilliance. At the same time, a magnificent phantom appeared behind the giant tree. The phantom had black hair and black eyes. His black cloak was fluttering in the wind. His eyes were so powerful that they could see through time and stars. To divine Laksana. How could this be? The demon Cloud City Master was shocked as he stared at the 2 phantom figures in disbelief. Since ancient times, there was only one way to become a deity. Therefore, there was only one divine Laksana. There had never been 2 divine Laksana in the body of one person. Chapter 1232. The 2 divine mirages stood majestically behind Suyu. They were shaped like pillars that supported the heavens and the earth. Suyu's eyes flickered with a cold, icy light as he looked disdainfully at the 3 supreme youths. Come on! The unparalleled supreme beings were transformed by the ordeals, but they still retained their personalities. Suyu was not afraid of the 3 of them at all. His disdainful eyes seemed to be challenging their status and glory. The 2 generations of demon emperors furrowed their brows and looked at him. The indifferent death god also looked at him strangely. Swish! The next moment, the 3 unparalleled youths teleported like streams of light, like stars streaking across the sky, leaving behind 3 magnificent trajectories between heaven and earth, and attacking Suyu. The former demon emperor's eyes were filled with black thunderbolts, which were combined with demonic energy and thunderbolts. Suyu didn't move at all. Instead, he locked his hands together. The shadow of the giant tree behind him was swaying. Then 2 vines shot out from the crown of the tree as if they were teleporting. This attack was the divine path of the ancient bronze tree, which was condensed by Suyu. Bang! The vines swept over the demonic thunder and turned it into ashes. Then, they swept over the body of the former demon emperor. The power of the divine Laksana turned the demonic thunder into ashes. A young unparalleled supreme being was defeated. In the distance, the demon Cloud City Master, Li Ying, and the 2 deities were all shocked. The former demon emperor was killed by a single attack. It meant the potential of the person who was going through the ordeal was no less than that of the current demon emperor. Who is he? Li Ying's voice was trembling. He didn't expect such a legendary figure who was as powerful as the young, unparalleled supreme being was right in front of him. This man, I must win him over. At this moment, the demon Cloud City Master was trembling in fear. Such a figure would definitely become a supreme being in the future. He couldn't let anyone beat him to it. On the battlefield, swish! The vine's momentum did not stop, sweeping through the surroundings. 2 muffled noises rang out. The figures of the current young demon emperor and the death deity were blocked by the vines. Then, their real bodies showed up. Unlike the former demon emperor who was killed, the 2 of them were safe and sound. Their eyes were cold and calm. The current demon emperor held a pitch-black bone sword in his hand. The body of the sword was filled with boundless, domineering demon chi. The death god held a green dagger in his hand. It emitted a dreamy luster and a deadly aura of death. Both of them were emperor-based saint weapons. Looking at the vines that bounced back, two deep scars were clearly visible. Suyu's full comprehension of the wood divine path was far inferior to the two supreme young men's. Compared to the previous young sovereign, they were existences on a completely different level. The young demon emperor and the young god of death dashed over again with the arrogance and coldness in their eyes. Suyu's heart thumped uneasily, as if he was a small boat in a tsunami that could capsize at any moment. However, no matter how shaken his heart was, his gaze was as resolute as ever. Defy. Suyu uttered one word indifferently. Only one word. However, this defiance was a defiance of injustice, a defiance of the heavens, a defiance of fate. The 10,000-foot-tall, black-haired phantom lowered its head and looked at the two of them with disdain. Puff, puff. Two muffled sounds rang out. The two supreme young men's killing intent was forcibly reversed, as if they had been confronted by a defying intent that could resist the heaven and earth rules. The corners of the young supreme young men's mouth were stained with blood. However, they were more and more eager to fight. The young demon emperor held the pitch-black bone sword in front of his chest as he murmured in the ancient and obscure demon language. Then, the bone sword emitted a magnificent force that contained divine strength. The left half of the young god of death body was illuminated by the Buddha's light. The right half of his body, which was holding the green dagger, was gloomy like a combination of a Buddha and a demon. Boom! Muffled thunders came from the tribulation cloud, as if it was the horn of the final battle. Endless thunderbolts fell on the ground and penetrated the earth. The scorching magma under the ground erupted as if it had been liberated. Thunder rumbled in the sky, and fire was raging. Three supreme young men were standing between the sky and the earth. They were going to have the final battle across time and space. They moved. The young demon emperor's eyes were as cold as stars. The bone sword in his hand drew a domineering arc in the sky and swept away all the creatures in front of it. The god of death also moved. Like a ghost monk from hell, he walked in time. The dagger in his hand danced in the coldest and most ruthless way to kill Suyu. Suyu was surrounded by a boundless aura with a defying intent. The giant tree behind him shot out tens of thousands of vines, which covered the sky and the sun and swept across the sky. Dense clanging sounds that resembled raindrops rang out as the vines were chopped off one after another. Looking from afar, two figures could be seen piercing into the enemy's heart with irresistible force like two peerless blades. In the twinkling of an eye, the tens of thousands of vines were destroyed. The two figures approached Suyu. The black-haired giant behind him looked at them again. The boundless defying intent swept across their bodies like an invisible river. However, the young supreme young man, who was full of fighting intent, broke through the defying intent and approached Suyu like a small boat going against the current. At this moment, Suyu, who had not moved his feet and remained motionless, finally moved. However, he didn't retreat. Instead, he took a step forward. When he took a step forward, his eyes emitted amazing, four-colored light. Four kinds of wonderful waves were transmitted into the void. In the sky, an incomparably huge object appeared. It was even more amazing than the giant of the bitter sea. It seemed the virtual shadow was supporting the whole world. It was like a magnificent being who could split the sky and the earth. It was an extremely vague virtual shadow, which seemed to be in the shape of a human, but only had half of its body. A huge left eye, which was about 1,000,000 square meters, was emitting a faint purple light. Half of its magnificent body was emitting a deep red color. A huge left hand, which was the color of emerald, was covering the sky and the sun. A giant left foot, which was like a pillar supporting the sky, was covered with a pale color. In this way, a horrible virtual shadow, which could devour a whole world, appeared suddenly. The four colors alternated, emitting a peculiar fluctuation. As Suyu took a step forward, the virtual shadow of the boundless giant also stepped forward. All of a sudden, four kinds of profound meanings of the world started to flow together with Suyu's steps, which radiated in all directions like waves. This was the full attack of the divine nine-dragon cauldron, which contained the power of time, space, soul, and life that Suyu had comprehended. Under the powerful waves, the two supreme young men were like a boat sailing against the sea. Every step they took was extremely difficult. However, Suyu was moving faster and faster. Stepping on the waves, he dashed toward the two supreme young men. 10,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 1,000 feet. He was getting closer. The three supreme young men were about to collide. 10 feet, 10 feet. Boom, boom. In the tribulation cloud, an earth-shattering thunder that shook the entire realm resounded. It was as if an unseen existence had let out a furious roar, causing the entire Jingyu domain to rumble incessantly. Countless weak life forms were killed by it. This sudden, earth-shattering sound had covered up the earth-shattering attacks of the three supreme youths. No one saw the process clearly. They only saw the result. The bone sword in the young demon emperor's hand was broken into pieces. His black hair was disheveled as he stared at the broken bone sword. The young death deity's green dagger was nowhere to be seen. The Buddha's light and demonic energy in his half-demon body were disordered. Similarly, the chests of the two supreme young men were pierced through, and their hearts were gone. No, they were turned into nothingness by some magnificent power. Drops of blood flowed down from the corners of the mouths of the two supreme young men. Their bodies were gradually disappearing in the boundless sea. The young demon emperor and the young death deity were defeated. Only one of the four supreme young men who had traveled through time and space was still standing. He was the supreme king, an unparalleled king who had surpassed all the ancient supreme young men, was born under the witness of all heavens. The demon cloud city master trembled as he stared at Suyu, who was shrouded by the tribulation cloud. He murmured, "I can't control this young man. Such an unparalleled king wouldn't belong to anyone." Even the current demon emperor was far from qualified to control him. The potential of this young man was so strong that the demon cloud city master didn't dare to touch him. Liang was also shocked. There was no jealousy in his heart, only admiration and shock. He didn't have the right to be jealous of such a young man, because the young man in front of him would definitely be an unparalleled supreme young man in the future. All the supreme young men were defeated. The tribulation cloud let out muffled sounds of dissatisfaction. However, it gradually dispersed helplessly. The divine tribulation was over. A bright shimmer fell from the dispersed tribulation cloud and disappeared into the space between Suyu's eyebrows. From his dantian, another round of light with the star river appeared again. This was the celestial energy sphere, the second celestial energy sphere. Who could get two celestial energy spheres in the past? Suyu stared at the dispersed tribulation cloud with cold light flashing in his eyes. The divine tribulation shouldn't have appeared, and the invisible shouldn't have appeared. You can't do anything to me. I will walk up to you step by step. Suyu said as he stared at the retreating tribulation cloud with sharp light in his eyes. In the darkness, a cold flashed past. The divine tribulation disappeared. The soft light fell from the sky and disappeared into Suyu's body. The primordial spirit in his body underwent a transformation, and it gradually grew from an infant to a young Suyu's appearance. His face was young and tender, and his eyes were filled with determination. It was obvious that Suyu was an unyielding youth in the Xinyu Prefecture's martial arts training institute. 3 realms of the mortal fairy? Suyu was slightly surprised. Generally speaking, the primordial spirit would grow into a 3-year-old child, which meant that Suyu's cultivation had reached the 1st realm of the mortal fairy. Then, when the cultivation reached the 2nd realm of the mortal fairy, the child would grow into an 8-year-old child. Suyu's current primordial spirit state was the 3rd realm of the mortal fairy. breaking through from the peak of the all creations to the third realm of the mortal fairy? However, thinking about it carefully, when Suyu was crossing the divine tribulation, he skipped the Almighty and reached the all creations directly from the fairy realm. Now it was only 3 realms, which was not too much. After all, the divine tribulation this time was a first-grade divine tribulation. At this moment, the primordial spirit that had grown into a teenager was no longer the condensed form of the all-creation strength, but the mortal fairy strength. In front of the primordial spirit, there was a light the size of a grain of rice. Finally, he could start to stabilize the celestial energy sphere. When the mortal fairy strength was instilled into the celestial energy sphere, divine power could be born, and the divine power would further stabilize the celestial energy sphere. Chapter 1233. At the same time, the changes in Suyu's soul were also gratifying. His soul had reached the peak of the mortal fairy, which was a level higher than his cultivation. The 5th level of the heaven's sun gazing at air automatically appeared in his mind, which was the last level recorded on the green stone slab. The soul devouring mirror. The long-awaited 5th level had finally appeared. The soul-devouring mirror could devour the souls of living creatures to strengthen one's own soul and reach the level of a divine soul. There are 3 levels. The first level could devour the souls of all living creatures below the level of deities, including late-stage prospective deities. Suyu's pupils constricted fiercely. Devour souls? Wasn't this something only the souls of deities could do? The souls contained the lifetime memories of others. If one casually merged with the souls of others, the consequence would be to lose oneself, become a mixture of many memories, and eventually become a lunatic. Only deities could erase the memories in the souls, turn them into the purest state, and then absorb them. However, the soul-devouring mirror had given Suyu such an incredible magical power. Moreover, this was only the first level. The second level could directly devour the souls of deities. The third level could devour the souls of middle-level deities. Suyu didn't know what a middle-level deity was, but it must be in existence above the deities. Thinking back to Yunyazi, a remnant soul was already extremely powerful. He really didn't know what level he had cultivated the soul-devouring mirror to. While Suyu was thinking, the heaven sun gazing at air broke through from the 4th level to the first small level of the 5th level. Suyu casually glanced at it and found that his soul could easily penetrate the souls of any living creatures and clearly explore the memories hidden deep in their souls. He could also feel that he could change their memories at will, create false memories, and forcibly erase these memories, turn their souls into the pure state, and then devour them and melt them into a part of himself. Is this the soul-devouring mirror? This new feeling was very novel to Suyu. The heaven sun gazing at air has a total of 9 levels, and the green stone slab only recorded 5 levels. If the 5th level is so amazing, what about the next 4 levels? Suyu licked his lips slightly, extremely interested in the next 4 levels. Suyu had gained a lot from this divine tribulation. He had obtained the 2nd celestial energy sphere and cultivated to the soul-devouring mirror, opening a new path of practicing the divine path. What was even more surprising was that Xiao Chun had thought that his divinity tribulation would trigger a worldly phenomenon unique to humans, which would attract the attention of the demon world's royal family. However, judging from the divine tribulation just now, Suyu had been overly worried. In this way, there was no need to worry about attracting the attention of the royal family of the demon dimension. To put it bluntly, the gains from this tribulation had exceeded his expectations. The ordeal is over. Next is the Demon Cloud City Master's turn. Suyu said with a cold smile on his face. Seeing that the god's tribulation was over, the Demon Cloud City Master, the other 2 deities, and Liang all teleported to the place where the god's tribulation was going to pass. The 4 of them still had a look of shock on their faces. Who is going through the tribulation? The Demon Cloud City Master and the 2 deities teleported to the place where the heavenly tribulation was. They saw a silver-haired young man of the demon clan standing with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at them indifferently. Although they had witnessed Su Yu's battle with the book deity last time, the purple-eyed demonic god had concealed the secrets of heaven, so they had not seen the specific situation of the battle clearly. As a result, they had not seen Su Yu's appearance and aura. Now, when they saw this strange demon who was not a purebred one, they were even more certain that he was the descendant of a declining deity. However, they couldn't think of any descendant of a deity who could inherit such a powerful divine path. The demon Cloud City Master had given up the idea of taking this young man as a subordinate. Instead, he chose to befriend him. Young man, congratulations. You have reached the prospective deity level. You will become a deity soon. The demon Cloud City Master stepped forward and cupped his fist to congratulate Su Yu. His attitude was cordial. The other two deities had witnessed the shocking scene of Su Yu going through the tribulation with their own eyes. So, they didn't think the demon Cloud City Master was condescending to them at all. In fact, they could never be too polite to such an unparalleled supreme being. Congratulations, my young man. My young man, your heroic bearing when going through the tribulation is unprecedented. It is really an eye-opener for us. Su Yu touched his nose with a weird look on his face. Seeing Su Yu didn't respond to him, the demon Cloud City Master said with a friendly smile, My young man, I guess you don't have any elders in this world, right? Su Yu was from the Star River. So, he didn't have any elders in the demon dimension. So, he nodded his chin indifferently. The other three deities' eyes lit up. As expected, Su Yu is the descendant of a declining deity. The demon Cloud City Master was relieved. Then he said with a smile, I am the demon Cloud City Master of the Jinyu realm. Today, when I saw you going through the tribulation, I wanted to give you a hand. However, I didn't expect you would be so powerful that you don't need my help at all. However, if you need any help, I am willing to do my best to help you. Su Yu said calmly, That won't be necessary. The demon Cloud City Master didn't care about Su Yu's cold attitude. Then, he said with a good temper, My young man, you are wrong. There are many deities in the demon dimension, and people are vicious. A talented person like you is bound to be envied. Moreover, you don't have any elders in this world. So, you lack protection. The other two city masters and I are willing to provide you with enough protection and resources during your growth period. In this way, we won't be in vain. The other two deities also said with a smile, What the demon Cloud City Master said is absolutely right. People are vicious. My young man, you have to be careful. Su Yu stared at them without saying anything. The demon Cloud City Master and the other two deities were a bit embarrassed. They thought Su Yu was really worthy of being a young supremacy. His arrogance, even deities couldn't be matched by ordinary people. They didn't dislike Su Yu's arrogance. Instead, they took it for granted. All of this was because Su Yu displayed a potential that made them shudder in fear. If an ordinary person dared to be indifferent to them, he would have been smashed into pieces. The demon Cloud City Master said to himself, It seems he is on guard against us. After making eye contact with the other two deities, the three of them nodded their heads. My young man, don't be afraid. The three city masters sincerely want to make friends with you. After saying that, the demon Cloud City Master took out a pink beast head from his sleeve. Then, he handed it to Su Yu reluctantly. This is an imitation Emperor-based saint artifact that I got from a relic many years ago. It is just a small gift for you to protect yourself. After saying that, the demon Cloud City Master sent the beast head to Su Yu. Su Yu was quite confused. However, he still accepted the weird pink beast head without hesitation. He would be a fool if he didn't accept the treasure given to him by the enemy with good intentions. Seeing that, the other two city masters couldn't help but take a deep breath. Then, they started to transmit messages to each other. Hey, did you see it wrong? That is an imitation Emperor-based saint artifact left by the demon Cloud City Master to his eldest son. Once it is activated, it can confuse people's minds. Even you and I have to be careful when dealing with it. I can't believe he gave it away. Chapter 1234. The two city masters looked at each other and were secretly shocked by the determination of the demon cloud city master. A second life divine artifact could be given away, which showed how determined the demon cloud city master was to win over Su Yu. But thinking about it, the existence of the three supreme youths was bound to be a king when he grew up. While he was still a seedling, it was far better to send charcoal in the snow than to add flowers to brocade in the future. It seems that we can't be stingy, the Boming city master said bitterly. If the gift was too much worse than the pink skeleton, it would be too shabby, and it would be difficult to get Su Yu's favor. It would be better not to send anything. So, either he didn't send anything, or he sent something decent. But how could the two of them compare with a rich and imposing demon cloud city master and offer a second life divine artifact? The Boming city master stepped forward, endured the pain, and smiled kindly. Little friend, it is fate that we meet, and there is nothing else to give. This is the pure, great source origin that I refined after a year of retreat. After you absorb it, it will be of great benefit to stabilize the great source origin. He took out a great source origin sealed in the divine power, which was more than 10 times larger than the rice grain in Su Yu's body. If it was integrated, Su Yu could have a year of training left. Su Yu's heart thumped, but his face remained calm and expressionless as he took it. Well, another enemy had sent a good treasure. Oh, the two city masters love my little friend so much. It makes me feel ashamed. I will give my little friend a good thing for self-defense. The Abyss city master smiled and took out a piece of ice with great pain. In the ice was a small black insect. Looking at the insect, the eyelids of the demon cloud city master and the Bo Ming city master twitched, revealing a little fear. The Bo Ming city master said, "The Abyss city master just laughed at the demon cloud city master's hard-earned capital. This old guy is really hard-earned. Even the dead soul worm can be given away. That is what he regards as a life-saving talisman." Among the three, the Abyss city master was the most enthusiastic. The demon cloud city master's face sank, and his nostrils flared, as if he was a little inferior. "Oh, what is this?" Su Yu stared at the frozen, pitch-black bug. The soul of the peak mortal fairy felt a little uneasy. Even the divine nine-dragon Cauldron issued a warning. Ever since he entered the galaxy, the divine nine-dragon Cauldron had never given him a warning, even when he was face-to-face with the gods. The Abyss City Lord was friendly and kind. "This is a 10,000-year-old black ice that was washed up by the sea water from the bitter sea. Sealed inside is an ancient fierce insect that is extinct in the demon realm, the dead soul worm. For some reason, it has been sealed in ice. Although 10,000 years have passed, there is still a trace of vitality left in it. If it is released, it is still extremely easy to kill the divine soul of a god." Kill the divine soul of a god? Su Yu's pupils contracted slightly. This was an excellent treasure, and it was equivalent to a life-saving treasure. If he had it earlier, he would have been able to keep it here forever when the book deity attacked. "Thank you, Abyss City Master." Su Yu smiled and took it without hesitation. The palm of the Abyss City Lord trembled slightly, and his heart ached. However, when he glimpsed the gloomy face of the Demon Cloud City Lord and the ugly expression of the Bo Ming City Lord, he felt relieved. This deal was not a loss. With a smile, the Abyss City Lord cupped his hands and said, "My little friend, you might as well come to my Abyss City as a guest. In the future, I am willing to bear all the training resources, and I can also provide the most decisive security protection for my little friend. I will never let my little friend be in any danger." The Demon Cloud City Lord snorted and looked at Su Yu with gentle eyes. "Ha! My Demon Cloud City is always open to my little friend. If you're willing, if there are any difficulties on the road of cultivation, I think I can still give my little friend some pointers." The Abyss City Lord was ruthless, and the Demon Cloud City Lord was even more ruthless. He directly gave pointers in the name of master and apprentice. The Boming City Lord was not willing to lag behind. "Oh, Boming City also welcomes my little friend very much. If there are any difficulties, Boming City is willing to help. Even if there are enemies of the gods who come to the door, No matter who the other party is, Bo Ming City will settle it for my little friend. Yes. He was even willing to make a commitment to enmity with the gods. The Bo Ming City Lord was the most ruthless. The three city lords rewarded him with precious things and promised conditions that ordinary people could not resist, just to get Su Yu's favor. Ahem, I appreciate the kindness of the three city lords. I also want to establish a good friendship with the three city lords. So you put away the three treasures without blushing or skipping a beat. The eyes of the three city lords lit up. Finally, they waited for the words they wanted. It's just that there may be a little difficulty, Su Yu said. What? The three city lords frowned. He had received their things and received their benefits, but now he was evading them? Oh, my little friend, if you have any difficulties, just say it. I don't think anything can affect the friendship between us and my little friend, the Demon Cloud City Lord said with a kind smile. Yes, my little friend, just say it. The Bo Ming City Lord and the Abyss City Lord also laughed. Su Yu said, I'm afraid that after I say it, the three city lords will be very unhappy. As soon as his voice fell, the Demon Cloud City Lord patted his chest boldly. What nonsense are you talking about? We are gods. What can we tolerate? That's right. Nothing can affect the rare fate between us today. Whoosh! It was at this moment that Liang finally caught up with the gods and rushed here. He was also very surprised to see what kind of person the future Supreme Being was. After appearing, he fixed his eyes on the young man who was treated with kindness and politeness by the three city lords. He could not help but show a respectful expression and said with a smile, Greetings. As he spoke, his eyes focused. When Su Yu's clear figure was reflected in his eyes, Li Ying's words stopped abruptly. Confusion, and doubt finally turned into a touch of surprise. How could it be you, you demon? Among the four people present, only he had fought with Su Yu and seen Su Yu's true face with his own eyes. Wait, the smiles on the faces of the three city lords, like flowers in the snow, suddenly froze and solidified on their faces. The Demon Cloud City Lord's eyes were like lightning as he looked at Li Ying. Who do you think he is? The other two gods also stared at Li Ying as if they wanted to eat him. Li Ying retreated in fear, swallowed his saliva, and said, It's the you demon, the Sea-Watch City Lord. Boom! It was as if there were three remnant, divine tribulations bombarding their hearts, causing them to freeze in place instantly. The Abyss City Lord's hands and feet were cold, and his lips trembled. He shouted, What nonsense are you talking about? The you-demon is only at the peak of all creations. How could he have crossed the tribulation? Being scolded by the gods, Li Ying was frightened and said, It can't be wrong. I just saw him half a month ago. How could I be wrong? He is absolutely the target of our crusade, the Sea-Watch City Lord. The three city lords were dumbfounded and could not accept such a fact. Chapter 1235. The three city masters reacted, and their faces turned red. It was hard to believe what they had just heard. The three of them had actually given extremely precious and powerful treasures to the enemy before the battle. Yes, they were still smiling, flattering, respectful, and courteous, giving them the good things that they were reluctant to give away. This merciless and cruel reality was like a resounding slap that shook the heavens and completely slapped them in the face. Throughout the ages, there was no joke like them. You demon, you deceived us and cheated me of my dead soul worm. Get it back to me. The Abyss City Master, who had suffered the most, was livid, and his teeth were trembling. Su Yu said helplessly, How did I deceive you? I had just passed the test, and you gave me gifts with your own hands. I wondered if you were not here to punish me. I thought it was your tradition to give the enemy a large number of precious things before a crusade. The Abyss City Master was trembling with anger. Su Yu's every word stung his nerves. The faces of the Demon Cloud City Master and the Bo Ming City Master were not much better. Kill him, the Bo Ming City Master shouted. Kill Su Yu and take back the treasure. The Demon Cloud City Master's eyes were full of anger, and the gentleness disappeared. He suddenly realized that the one standing in front of him was not only the target of their crusade, the you demon, but also the future Supreme Master. Thinking of this, the Demon Cloud City Master felt a chill run down his spine. He must not be allowed to live. At this moment, the Demon Cloud City Master even forgot that the main target this time was the ninth princess. The three gods were angry, and they could frighten all the creatures in the world with a single thought. Su Yu, who had obtained 2 great path divine origin, was equivalent to a half-god, and he was not afraid. Kill me? Do the 3 city masters want to disobey the demon royal family? The royal ban prohibits all killing among the city masters. Those who violate it will be killed. So you said calmly. The 3 gods immediately came to their senses. Killing them was a relief, but if they attracted the royal family, they could not escape death. We are here to punish the Sea Watch City Master, the Demon Cloud City Master shouted righteously. Li Ying came forward and stared at Su Yu coldly, full of murderous intentions. This kind of person was too terrible, and he must not be given any chance to grow. I am Li Ying. He operated his divine power and transmitted his voice to the entire Sea Watch City, attracting the attention of all creatures. The son of the previous Sea Watch City Lord, entrusted by the Demon Cloud City Lord, the Boming City Lord, and the Abyss City Lord, announced the crimes of the new City Lord, the Feather Demon, to the world. The new City Lord, Feather Demon, has committed 2 great crimes. The first crime is to kidnap and seriously injure the 9th princess and threaten the important members of the royal family of the demon race. We uphold the justice of heaven and earth, clean up the side of the emperor, remove the traitors, and save her highness. My second crime was conspiring to take over the position of Sea Watch City Lord. My father had unfortunately passed away. According to common sense, I, as the heir, should have assumed the position of City Lord. However, he threatened her highness and schemed to seize the throne. The Feather Demon has committed heinous crimes and has no respect for the royal family. We, the alliance of the 3 cities, have come to rescue the king. After reading it, Li Ying stared at Su Yu and shouted, Traitor, why don't you kneel down and accept your death? His words shook the sky and reached the ears of all living beings. They were shocked, puzzled, and deeply confused as they looked at the new Sea Watch City Lord who had not said a word. Su Yu waited for a moment and said, Is this the reason for your crusade? He raised his hand, and the dog was thrown out of the 9 jade spiritual pearl in a daze. Your Royal Highness the 9th Princess, your officials suspect that I am holding you hostage. You should go with them. Puppy opened its sleepy eyes, shook its head like a rattle, and wobbled into the 9 jade spiritual pearl. Why do you want to go with them? I'm not going. With that, the dog glared at the 3 people of the Demon Cloud City Lord. Wash up and go to sleep. I am fine. I'm not being held hostage. Then, her furry body went back into the 9 jade spiritual pearl. Su Yu stood with his hands behind his back and said calmly, It seems that your first major crime is not established. Looking at Li Ying, Su Yu said lightly, As for you, which rule of the demon world says that the position of the City Lord must be inherited by the son of the City Lord? When Sea Watch City was in trouble, you hid in the Demon Emperor's capital and did not come out. Now that the crisis has been resolved, you shamelessly came back to take the position of City Lord. I would like to ask the creatures of Sea Watch City, is such a cowardly City Lord what you want? In summary, the reason for your crusade is not established. Go back and rewrite the crusade. Su Yu waved his sleeves, causing the creatures of Sea Watch City to laugh. Li Ying's face turned red, and he shouted, Who are you calling cowardly? Of course it's you. Su Yu responded resolutely. As the descendant of the gods, when your father was in trouble, you did not dare to speak up. After your father died, you did not dare to take revenge. You did not dare to seize the position of the City Lord by yourself. You could only compromise like a slave, be ordered around by other city lords, and even lead outsiders to attack your own city. Even a dog has a sense of loyalty, and you are worse than a dog. To say that you are cowardly is a stain on the word cowardly. His voice shook the entire Sea Watch City, and the creatures who already disliked Li Ying despised him even more. Ward City Lord is right. Look at the way he is leading the way. If not a slave, then what does he look like? Ha! This kind of spineless coward. Can't he just hide in the Demon Emperor's city? How dare he come back to show off? He is worse than a dog. Li Ying's face turned from red to livid, and he mocked back. I am cowardly? Ha! A lowly character who scurries like a rat in my hands dares to call me cowardly? If I am cowardly, then what are you? As soon as these words came out, the creatures of Sea-Watch City despised him even more. The son of the Old City Lord is really promising. A late-stage perspective deity is bullying in all creations, and yet he still thinks he is so great. Sigh, each generation is worse than the previous one. Hearing the harsh sarcasm, Li Ying sneered. A group of ants, shut up. The demon dimension respects martial arts, and it is all about strength. His low cultivation is incompetent, so who can he blame? His eyes turned to Su Yu, and he sneered. No matter how amazing your potential is, you are still an ant in my eyes now. You are not qualified to call me cowardly. Swish! Li Ying broke away from the three deities and teleported away. He shouted, On behalf of myself, I will give you some surprises first to wake you up. It is still too early for you to imagine that you are superior to all living beings. In other words, he attacked Su Yu for personal reasons, and it had nothing to do with the Subjugation Alliance. At the moment when he attacked, Su Yu's body suddenly flickered with colorful light, and he teleported away. Li Ying missed him, and his face was full of sarcasm. Did you see that? This is your new city lord, a cowardly coward who is good at escaping. It is ridiculous that such a coward has the cheek to call others cowardly. Su Yu was indifferent, and he was not angry at all, just like last time. Sighing softly, Su Yu said, You only think I am avoiding you, but have you ever thought that in fact I just don't take you seriously, and I don't want to fight with you? You? Li Ying laughed as if he had heard a joke. Chapter 1236. I really don't know where your confidence comes from. Li Ying cast a pitiful look at him. I've seen your battle during the ordeal. You are at most at the level of a middle-stage perspective deity. You probably can't even withstand one blow from me. Your mysterious confidence really makes me feel sorry for you. Swish! Li Ying's figure flickered. His voice was still drifting, but he disappeared by teleportation. When he appeared again, his cold words rang in Su Yu's ears. Because you won't even know how you died. The divine power of a late-stage perspective deity condensed between his fingers. The purity of the divine power was not far from that of an ordinary deity. This time, Su Yu did not teleport away. Instead, he slowly extended his right palm and collided with the finger that penetrated the divine power without turning his head. There was no earth-shattering sound, only a slight muffled sound reverberating between the two. Su Yu's body was not shattered by the late-stage perspective deity Li Ying as the outsiders had imagined. The two seemed to be frozen in time, maintaining their fighting posture. After a moment, Su Yu withdrew his right palm indifferently, and a black dragon flashed by leisurely. With a soft sigh, Su Yu said, Go in peace, although you may not even know how you died. Crack! As his voice fell, a piece of crust-like skin peeled off from Li Ying's face, and a gloomy, cold breath of death leaked out. His body had been obliterated by the breath of death, and so had his soul, leaving only an empty shell. A dignified late-stage perspective deity was destroyed by a single palm. The onlookers were all shocked. What is the cultivation of the city master? He seems to have just broken through the mortal fairy level. Hiss! What a domineering palm. Even if he was hit by a palm of the same level, Li Ying should be able to resist and not be killed. However, the palm of the city master killed Li Ying before he could even react. The creatures of Sea-Watch City were shocked by the amazing strength of the city master, which gradually turned into ecstasy. The stronger the city master was, the more beneficial it would be for the prosperity of Sea-Watch City. Ha ha ha! When I first heard that the city master was only an all-creations cultivator, I was really shocked. It turns out that our city master is a late-stage perspective deity. That's right. No wonder Her Royal Highness the Ninth Princess dared to entrust Sea-Watch City to him. It turns out that he has hidden his strength. That's the only explanation. Ha, what a joke. That Li Ying thought too highly of himself, and even declared that he was chasing after our city master. In the end, he was killed with a single palm strike. Speaking of which, he is the one who should be pitted. Before the battle even started, Li Ying, who was leading the way, was killed. The faces of the three demon cloud city masters darkened. Li Ying was specially brought back by them from the demon emperor's capital. As the true heir of Sea-Watch City, he came to suppress the current Sea-Watch City lord. In the end, before the war had even officially started, he was killed with a single palm strike. The three city lords had clearly seen that palm strike. Li Ying's death was not unjust, but extremely unjust. It was no wonder that the power of that palm was so shocking that it was more than enough to kill Li Ying. What he felt wronged was that if he had been cautious and not directly touched this palm, he wouldn't have been killed so easily. No matter what, Li Ying was dead. But because of his death, it gave them a new excuse to crusade. Treacherous traitor! The demon cloud city master's eyes were like lightning, and he scolded in a stern voice. You killed the descendants of the deities without permission, and you deserve to die 1,000 times. As deities of the Jinyu realm, we will never sit back and watch a wicked and evil person like you wreak havoc on Sea-Watch City. His words were righteous, but they were cursed by the people of Sea-Watch City. Sophistry. Li Ying, that be *starred, failed to kill someone and was killed instead. Is our city master going to stand still and wait to be killed by him? You are the ones who are wreaking havoc on Sea-Watch City. Yes, get lost. We don't need you to meddle in the affairs of Sea-Watch City. The creatures of Sea-Watch City knew very well that once Sea-Watch City was attacked, they would definitely become the puppets of the three city lords. Their complaints were not worth mentioning in the eyes of the demon cloud city master. He sneered and said, A bunch of fools. I am here to save you." As he spoke, he stared at Suyu. "In the name of Her Royal Highness, I hereby announce to the world that we are going to wage a war of justice against the U-Demon." After exchanging a look with the two city lords on his left and right, the three city lords stared at Suyu at the same time. Unparalleled divine strength gushed out from their bodies, which pierced through the sky and killed Suyu on the spot. The three of them knew very well that since things had come to this, they had to kill Suyu, the unparalleled supreme martial artist with amazing potential. Otherwise, what awaited them in the future would be an endless nightmare. The importance of killing Suyu had far exceeded the importance of seizing Her Royal Highness. The three great deities attacked at the same time, including the powerful demon cloud city master, who was comparable to the all-access merchant god. So he was no match for them. Although he couldn't contend with them, someone else could. Bang! Bang! At the moment when the three of them attacked, for beams of divine light suddenly teleported and gave them an unexpected fatal blow from behind. They were the luminous Moon City Master and the other three city lords. The luminous Moon City Master refused to accept Suyu's expectations and successfully invited the other three city lords. They were lurking at the border of their respective jurisdictions, constantly paying attention to the movements in this place, looking for the most suitable opportunity to launch a sneak attack. For this reason, they had prepared their best and most fatal moves to launch a heavy sneak attack. The sneak attack of the four people was far beyond the expectation of the Demon Cloud City Master and the other three city lords. In their expectation, even if the four people of the luminous Moon City Master and the other three city lords didn't dare to come and help, they would never hinder them. However, they were more than just obstacles. They were simply waiting to give them a fierce blow from behind. The Demon Cloud City Master reacted first. He recalled the divine strength he had shot out and turned around to attack the sneak attack from behind. With a dull groan, the sneak attacker was beaten back, leaving a lot of divine blood on the ground. It was the luminous Moon City Master, whose mouth was full of blood. However, a blood-red bone needle in the palm of the luminous Moon City Master had successfully pierced into the palm of the Demon Cloud City Master. A mass of blood-red mark was spreading on the palm of the Demon Cloud City Master. the god destroying poison? The demon Cloud City Master was furious. However, he dared not be careless. So, he suppressed the deadly poison immediately. The luminous Moon City Master covered his chest and coughed out several mouthfuls of divine blood. Then, he said with a mocking smile, "Ha! No wonder you are the #1 city lord of the Jingyu realm. You could still injure me when you were poisoned by the god destroying poison. However, you won't be able to escape today." Ah! Two screams were heard one after another. The Boming City Master and the Abyss City Master failed to react in time like the Demon Cloud City Master. They were attacked by the other 3 City Masters. Their divine bodies were directly smashed, and only their divine souls escaped. They were the Baiwei City Master, the Lingxin City Master, and the Fansai City Master. They did not chase after the 2 divine souls who had escaped. Instead, they stood side by side with the luminous Moon City Master and the Demon Cloud City Master. Deep Breath, who had lost his body, was not a problem. The Demon Cloud City Master was their biggest problem. Fansai City Master, how dare you? The Demon Cloud City Master's eyes were filled with anger. Before this, the Fansai City Master was on his side. The Fansai City Master said calmly, "The luminous Moon City Master promised enough benefits." Well, more than you promised. There was no unchanging relationship between friend and foe. Only interests were eternal. Good, good. None of you can leave today. The Demon Cloud City Master shouted angrily. Boom! His body erupted with a terrifying demonic aura. He stared at the luminous Moon City Master angrily. Do you think you can defeat me with the god-destroying poison? Die. He teleported with a thought and transformed into a giant demonic body that was 10,000 feet tall. The luminous Moon City Master and the other 3 City Masters looked grave. Even though the Demon Cloud City Master was poisoned, they did not dare to be careless. They transformed into their hideous demonic bodies. 5 giant creatures were fighting in the sky above the Sea-Watch City. They destroyed mountains and rivers and affected the Great Way Law. As a result, the stable cavern world of the demonic realm showed signs of cracking. The Demon Cloud City Master was indeed the top city master in the Jingyu realm. Even though he was poisoned and only had 70% of his strength, his combat power was still amazing. He was not at a disadvantage under the siege of the 4 City Masters. However, the 4 City Masters were determined to kill the Demon Cloud City Master. They were even more determined to kill him when they saw his terrifying strength. If they let the Demon Cloud City Master go today, he would have endless troubles in the future. Don't show any mercy, the luminous Moon City Master shouted. He took out his most powerful demonic artifact and launched a powerful killing move at the expense of his divine power. The other 3 City Masters did not dare to delay and attacked with all their strength. At this moment, the battle between the 2 sides finally changed. The Demon Cloud City Master was bombarded by the 4 City Masters. His divine body was shaking, and cracks that were dozens of feet wide appeared on his body. Countless drops of divine blood were scattered in the air. It was a spectacular scene. As time went by, the Demon Cloud City Master's injuries became more and more serious. His divine body was on the verge of collapse. However, the 4 City Masters were also in a very difficult situation. The Fansai City Master's divine body was smashed by the Demon Cloud City Master, and his divine soul was destroyed by the Demon Cloud City Master. The Fansai City Master was dead. The Baiwei City Master and the Lingxin City Master were also seriously injured. They could not recover without a few decades of recuperation. Even the luminous Moon City Master was seriously injured. And this was because the Demon Cloud City Master was poisoned first. He is dying. Let's attack together, the luminous Moon City Master shouted. The situation was clear. The Demon Cloud City Master would die today. The 3 City Masters rushed forward and gave the Demon Cloud City Master a final blow. The Demon Cloud City Master smiled bitterly and stared at Suyu angrily. You demon, I will not let you go. Although there was no evidence, the 4 City Masters had sided with Suyu. It must be Suyu's doing. He regretted not believing the book deity's words. The young man in front of him was a horrible existence that he could not afford to give him any chance. With a flip of his hand, he could summon clouds and rain. With a single thought, he could turn the world upside down. Swoosh! The 10,000-foot-tall demonic body rose into the sky. He was about to escape. Where do you think you are going? The luminous Moon City Master could not let the Demon Cloud City Master escape. He immediately chased after the Demon Cloud City Master with the other two City Masters. The Demon Cloud City Master was an arrow at the end of its flight. He could not escape the ultimate attack of the three City Masters. Rumble. However, at that moment, thunder rumbled in the sky all of a sudden. An enormous demonic cloud came over the Sea-Watch City like a tsunami. The demonic cloud exuded an extremely solemn and brutal murderous intention. Suyu was shocked by the brutal aura. The demon clan. Suyu's pupils shone with a strange light. This brutal aura was the unique aura of the demon clan. After entering the demonic dimension, the demon clan that he saw and came into contact with was not the bloodthirsty demon clan in the Star River. Suyu once wondered if the demon clan in the Star River did not come from the demonic dimension. However, the brutal aura coming from the demonic cloud made Suyu's eyes turn cold. The demonic dimension was indeed the ruler of the Star River. Suyu's last hope was extinguished. His eyes were filled with ruthlessness. The brutal aura radiated in all directions. Many creatures retreated in fear. Chapter 1237. Suyu's heart skipped a beat. Where was the holy magic hall? A young demon appeared from the billowing demonic cloud. He looked like he was in his 30s with a ferocious look. He was a purebred demon. Different from the ordinary purebred demons, the horns on his head were slightly red, and the surface of his body was also blood red. This kind of demon was very similar to the demonic body of the glittering jewel demonic god. A blood-red demonic god? Behind the young man, there were also blood-red devil race bodies standing in succession. All of them exuded a terrifying aura of brutality, as if they were wild beasts that could pounce on people at any time. It was very unsettling. The luminous Moon City Master and the other two people slowed down and didn't dare to chase after them. They could only watch the Demon Cloud City Master enter the demonic cloud. The blood-red youth, who was the leader, looked at the retreating luminous Moon City Master and the other two people regretfully. What a pity! The luminous Moon City Master trembled. His face was gloomy and fearful. If they had lost their minds and rushed into the demonic cloud just now, it would be regarded as an attack on the Holy Magic Hall. Then, their fate would be to be eaten by the monsters of the Holy Magic Hall. They shuddered when they heard the word pity. I'm taking him away, the blood-red demonic god said. He didn't take the people present seriously at all. He glanced over the three city masters and fixed his eyes on Suyu. As for you, his words were filled with coldness. Follow me to the Holy Magic Hall and wait for your punishment. On the demonic cloud, the Demon Cloud City Master's lips curled into a vicious smile. The Holy Magic Hall was the supreme existence above the 9 realms. The most powerful deities in the demon dimension only listened to the orders of the Demon Emperor. Their existence was to expand and invade the outside world. They were responsible for suppressing rebellions. They were extremely terrifying and bloodthirsty existences. Anyone who was brought into the Holy Magic Hall by them could never come out alive unless the Demon Emperor gave the order. So you had no chance of surviving this time. He would most likely become the food of the monsters of the Holy Magic Hall. If possible, the Demon Cloud City Master didn't want to ask for help from the people in the Holy Magic Hall. Once that happened, he would have to join the Holy Magic Hall. However, Suyu had forced him into a desperate situation. He had no choice but to ask the Holy Magic Hall for help. What's the reason? Suyu asked calmly when everyone was dead silent. The reason is that I am a general of the Holy Magic Hall, and I have the authority to investigate a mere city lord like you. The blood-red demonic god said indifferently. Suyu was unmoved, and he calmly said, in other words, this is your personal will, and no one gave you any orders? The blood-red demonic god squinted his eyes. He had thought that he would be able to scare Jiang easily. He did not expect Jiang to be a calm lad. Without the Demon King's order, he indeed did not have the authority to capture a city lord. Humph! If you say another word, I will tear your mouth apart. The blood-red demonic god snorted coldly. Come with me. I will say this one last time. This person's aura was overbearing and domineering. None of the deities present dared to speak up for Suyu. The Holy Magic Hall was undoubtedly a huge rock that pressed down on everyone's hearts, making it hard for them to breathe. At this moment, the 9 jade spiritual pearl flickered, and Puppy appeared. It stared at the blood-red demon god, and there was a tinge of fear in its eyes. How dare you? He's my city lord. If you want to kill him, you have to ask me first. The 9th princess shouted. The blood-red demonic god stared at Puppy with contempt. Oh, the 9th princess? Even if you were at your peak, you would be worthless in front of the Holy Magic Hall, much less now that you are severely injured. The number of princes and princesses who have died in the Holy Magic Hall is not just 1 or 2. Puppy shrank its neck. It was a little afraid of the Holy Magic Hall. This was a bloody organization that stood above all the princes and princesses. If any of the princes and princesses had the intention of rebelling, they could kill them. This was a knife that hung over the necks of all the creatures in the demonic dimension. He stared at Suyu, looking down on everything. If I want you to leave, you can't scram. If I want you to scram, you can't lie down. Although the demonic dimension is vast, there is no one that I can't control. Not even the demon princess can save you. It's useless no matter who comes. As soon as he finished speaking, an endless fragrance wafted in from all directions. A chilly intent floated over. Is that so? Even I can't? Swish! 2 beams of divine light fluctuated and suddenly teleported, revealing 2 silhouettes. One was the purple-eyed demonic god who had gone to the Demon Emperor's capital for a month. In front of him was a beautiful woman in a fluttering, colorful dress. Her expression was cold, and her appearance was exactly the same as a human's. No, judging from her breath, she was a human. Princess Yunxia? The blood-red demonic god's pupils constricted upon hearing that. The first maid of the princess, Cauldron. The princess's maid? Suyu was surprised. The arrogant look on the face of the blood-red demonic god was replaced with a solemn look. You want to meddle in my business? Cauldron's expression was cold. First, you left the capital without orders and detained the city master without permission. I will report this to the princess, and she will ask the demon emperor to judge you. Upon hearing that, the blood-red demonic god's body trembled slightly. He stared at Cauldron with an uncertain expression. Second, it's not me who wants to meddle. It's the princess. The blood-red demonic god was taken aback. What? The princess, she? Looking at Suyu, the blood-red demonic god's face was full of shock and disbelief. Princess Yunxia had specially sent her first maid to care about a small city master. What kind of esteemed status did Princess Yunxia have? The Demon Cloud city master gasped in horror. He knows Princess Yunxia? The luminous Moon City master and the others also widened their eyes. Their throats seemed to be blocked by something, and they couldn't speak. If the Demon Emperor was the strongest, then Princess Yunxia would be the first person in power. The Demon Emperor had been in isolation for a long time, and all the affairs of the demonic dimension were handled by Princess Yunxia on his behalf. Some people secretly claimed that Princess Yunxia was the real Demon Emperor of the demonic dimension, a female Demon Empress. No one expected that the Sea-Watch City Master, who was born as a commoner, would be recognized by Princess Yunxia. Puppy's eyes were wide open, and she was deeply shocked. She realized that she couldn't see through Suyu at all. How could he, a person outside the demonic dimension, know a terrifying woman like Princess Yunxia? Cauldron said indifferently, why don't you get lost? The blood-red, demonic god's cheeks squirmed, and his expression no longer changed. Instead, he turned around and shouted, "Go!" He didn't hesitate at all, and he didn't even care about Suyu. It was clear that he feared Princess Yunxia very much. The crisis of a great war disappeared without a trace. Suyu's mood was a bit complicated. It seems that the fairy Yunxia that Tianjizi is looking for is the Demon Emperor's wife. From Tianjizi's last words, he could hear his friendship with the fairy Yunxia. But if Tianjizi knew that the person he loved had become the woman of the Demon Emperor, would he be willing to let Su Yu continue to pass on the message? You, demon, the princess ordered you to go to the Demon Emperor's capital as soon as possible. She wants to see you. Kaylin showed a little tenderness. Su Yu recovered from his daze and nodded. Understand. After dealing with the matters of the Jingyu realm, I will go to the Demon Emperor's capital immediately. Kaylin nodded slightly and cast a kind look. When she glanced at the luminous Moon City Master and the others, her eyes became cold. Before the Demon goes to the Demon Emperor's capital, you will be responsible for his safety. After that, she added, this is also the princess's order. The luminous Moon City Master and the others trembled violently and immediately bowed. We will obey. The princess had personally ordered them to protect Su Yu, which showed how much she loved Su Yu. Just what kind of relationship did they have? Why was the Princess Yunxia, who was known for her iron fist, so protective of Su Yu? When Kaylin left, the luminous Moon City Master and the other 3 City Masters came over with a look of fear. Luminous Moon City Master, now that the hidden danger in the Jingyu realm has been eliminated, you can issue an edict to take charge of the Jingyu realm on behalf of the princess. Su Yu fulfilled his promise. The luminous Moon City Master smiled bitterly. If it weren't for the appearance of Princess Yunxia's maid, he would not only take charge of the Jingyu realm, but also eliminate Su Yu. He also saw the scene of Su Yu's tribulation just now. This kind of person, if he couldn't be a friend, he couldn't be an enemy. And the relationship between them was difficult to be friends. But at this moment, how dare he? He took out the edict and returned it with both hands. I am seriously injured, and I am afraid it is not convenient for me to control the Jingyu realm. It is better for the Sea-Watch City Master to give orders on behalf of the princess. You take it, Su Yu said firmly. His ambition was not in the Jingyu realm, but the Holy Magic Hall. That was the real threat to the creatures of the Xing River. You also heard that the princess and I can't stay in the Jingyu realm for a long time. The Jingyu realm cannot be without a master for a day. Before the princess recovers from her injury, you will take charge of it, Su Yu said as if he was giving an order. The luminous Moon City Master had no objection to this and said respectfully, yes. Finally, Su Yu looked at the purple-eyed demonic god and said, thanks to the purple-eyed demonic god, you really handed the letter to the princess. Without you, the consequences would be unimaginable. The purple-eyed demonic god's eyes flickered with surprise. Princess Yunxia had a total of 9 maids. The 9 maids often went out to handle affairs on her behalf. Only the first maid stayed by her side all year round and almost never went out. But this time, she made an exception for Su Yu, which really surprised the purple-eyed demonic god. Princess Yunxia's attention to this person was unusual. Little friend, you have hidden your strength well. I am just an errand boy, the purple-eyed demonic god said thoughtfully. Su Yu cupped his hands and did not explain. The rebellion in the Jingyu realm had been quelled, but the book deity behind the scenes was still at large. His eyes flashed slightly, and the purple-eyed demonic god said, little friend, shouldn't the book deity be dealt with as soon as possible? He has stirred up the Jingyu realm with his schemes. If he escapes, the consequences will be no small matter. No need to go, it is already too late. Su Yu shook his head. Based on Su Yu's understanding of the book deity, the book deity had already escaped when he saw the situation was not right. It was impossible for him to stay. However, the purple-eyed demonic god still went to investigate. In a secret room with the residual scent of the book deity, there was no trace of the book deity, but a communication jade pendant was left. When the jade pendant was presented to Su Yu was slightly surprised. The book deity left a message for me? This is not like his style. This person prefers to attack from behind and will not leave his traces easily. After checking the jade pendant and making sure there was no trap, Su Yu crushed it. Hee. Alien, do you want the book deity? He's in my hands. Why don't we talk about it? Whether we come to an agreement or not, his life is at your disposal. Su Yu was shocked. The book deity had been taken away. The purple-eyed demonic god's purple eyes seemed to be probing something, but all matters related to the book deity were blocked by an unfathomable vortex. Little friend, the origin of the person who attacked you is unknown, and his motive for meeting you is unclear. It is best not to meet him. Su Yu's eyes narrowed, and after a while, he stood up slowly. This person's motive for meeting me is indeed unclear, but as for his identity, I have some guesses. Su Yu's eyes flashed. He knows that I am under the protection of the princess, but he still dares to ask me to meet him. This person must have something important to discuss with me. 3 days later, Su Yu left the Sea-Watch city alone and came to the border between the Jingyu realm and the Jingxin realm. The bamboo forest here was lush, and a graceful girl in a purple dress was leaning gracefully on a dark green bamboo. Her beautiful figure was slightly tilted, outlining her graceful and beautiful figure clearly. She was holding a demonic book and reading it attentively. Chapter 1238. The visitor was naturally Su Yu. Looking at the delicate and beautiful girl in front of him, Su Yu said lightly, "Thanks to the sixth princess, we meet again in the demon realm." The person who asked him to meet was none other than the sixth princess. Hee. When you transform into a demon, you are still a handsome mess. I can't help but feel sorry for you. The sixth princess laughed. Su Yu was unmoved, and the expression on his face did not change. Hee, you are so expressionless, and you really disappoint my admiration. The sixth princess giggled. Su Yu said lightly, I don't think a woman who sent the book deity to catch me has any real admiration for me. Very much. The sixth princess said with a smile, You can be so valued by Princess Yunxia. You want me to admire you as much as you want. Su Yu stared deeply at the sixth princess. You really came for Princess Yunxia. Before this, the sixth princess was only interested in Su Yu because of his ability to reverse the demonization. Now, her interest lies in the relationship between Su Yu and Princess Yunxia. Of course, part of it is for your own good, the sixth princess said, pausing before saying, Do you know what kind of woman Princess Yunxia is? Regarding her, Su Yu naturally tried his best to inquire about her in the past 3 days. She came to the demon realm more than 100 years ago, was favored by the demon emperor, and married as a princess. She was extremely favored by the demon emperor, and her status was far above the other princesses and even the queen. Almost all the affairs of the demon emperor were handed over to her, and she also showed extraordinary governance methods. Her methods were strong and ruthless, and the 9 demon princes and princesses of the demon realm were submissive. The city lords of all the realms were also suppressed by this woman, and they were in awe of her. Even a holy magic hall, a terrorist organization full of monsters, was neatly cleaned up by Princess Yunxia. Looking at the demon realm, no one dared to disrespect her. Capable and decisive, and her methods are brilliant and ruthless, Su Yu said. The sixth princess said, Well, it's about the same as I thought. That's all the information you can find out. Oh, Su Yu raised his eyebrows slightly. Listening to the sixth princess, it seemed that she had something else to say. In the eyes of the devil realm creatures, she is a powerful queen, but in the eyes of us princes and princesses, do you know what kind of role she is? The sixth princess came over, her slender figure swaying in the bamboo forest. Su Yu turned a blind eye to her flirtatious behavior and calmly said, What does it matter to me what kind of person she is? Yes, that's because it's very likely that you won't be able to return. Su Yu's gaze turned grave, but his expression remained calm. Are you threatening me? I'm not threatening you, but you really can't come back. Princess Yunxia definitely does not have good intentions towards you. The sixth princess enunciated clearly, and her purple pupils were full of seriousness and seriousness. Su Yu was silent. He had never thought that passing a message for Tianjizi would earn him the love of Princess Yunxia. At the end of the day, he was just a mouthpiece, not worth mentioning. However, Su Yu didn't quite believe that Princess Yunxia had bad intentions towards him. Maybe you don't know yet, but in addition to the first maid, the second, third, and fourth maids have actually come to the Jingyu realm, including Kai Lin, who left. The first maid did not go back, but stayed at the border of the Jingyu realm with the other maids. Kai Lin did not leave. Su Yu's eyes narrowed. Why do you think the four maids surrounded the Jingyu realm in four directions? I guess it's not to stay to enjoy the scenery, right? Suddenly, Su Yu is deeply vigilant. They were guarding against Su Yu leaving. If Princess Yunxia only wanted to know what Tian Jizi's message was, why would she do this? She must have other plans. Su Yu subconsciously clenched his right palm, and his heart trembled. Could it be the Milky Way star sand? Tian Jizi had the Milky Way star sand, and Princess Yunxia might have known about it. Now that he was looking for her, she would have guessed whether the Milky Way star sand would be with Su Yu. And to be on the safe side, she was worried that Su Yu would hide the Milky Way star sand elsewhere. So she did not use forceful means, but used gentle means to make Su Yu let down his guard. This was very similar to the means that Princess Yunxia often used in the records. Thinking back to himself, if the sixth princess had not suddenly invited Su Yu and reminded him of the mysterious movements of the four maids, he really would not have been vigilant. It seems that you finally understand. The sixth princess giggled. In fact, I'm also very curious. That woman has sent her four most capable maids to keep an eye on you. To be honest, apart from my eldest brother, you are the first one who has had this kind of treatment. The first prince inherited the demon emperor's divine path and was likely to surpass his father in the future. It was normal for the princess to be wary of him, but it was extremely unusual for an outsider like Su Yu, who had no impact on her status, to be so guarded against. After a moment of silence, Su Yu said in a low voice, "So, in the eyes of the princes and princesses, what kind of person is she? A usurper?" The sixth princess uttered 3 words full of murderous intent. Su Yu laughed. With the power of the demon emperor, who can usurp the throne? No, you underestimate the cruelty of this woman. There is both hatred and fear in the eyes of the sixth princess. It is true that she can't touch my father, but it is easy to shake the princes and princesses like us. Su Yu rolled his eyes and said in surprise, "You mean she wants to get rid of all the princes and princesses so that the position of the demon emperor will have no heir?" "Yes," the sixth princess said, "that is what she intends to do, and that is what she has done. She took advantage of my father's retreat for hundreds of years to arrange all the means to suppress the 9 princes and princesses. On the surface, we 9 princes and princesses still infest this piece of land in the demon realm, but you should have seen what happened to the 9th princess. After she was killed, did any of the city masters stand up for her? No, the 6th princess said, because in the past 100 years, Princess Yunxia has used iron-blooded means to tell all the city masters that she is the ruler of the demon realm, not the princes and princesses of each fief. Su Yu nodded secretly. The experience of Puppy was indeed cited as evidence. She has successively deprived us of the power of the princes and princesses. Apart from the right to appoint the city masters, we do not have much jurisdiction over the various city masters, so the city masters are not afraid of us at all. If these means are considered mild, then a new rule that she has promulgated will certainly explain your doubts. Why do the Demon Cloud City Master and even the Luminous Moon City Master and others have such courage to hold Her Royal Highness hostage and prepare to command the world? Are they not afraid of the wrath of the royal family? I think you must have wondered about this question. Su Yu nodded solemnly. Indeed, he had thought about this question. He dared to hold Puppy hostage because he did not intend to stay in the demon realm for a long time. Once the incident happened, he could just run away. However, the Demon Cloud City Master and others were rooted in the demon realm. How could they not fear the wrath of the royal family? That's because she has promulgated a rule that any city master can seize the position of the realm master by virtue of his own ability. It is said to promote the efforts of many city masters, but in fact, it is to deprive us of the special power of the princes and princesses. So, if there is an attack between the city masters, the royal family will definitely investigate. However, if there is an attack between the city masters and the princes and princesses, it is in line with the rules, and the royal family will not intervene. This is why any city master dares to dream of holding the emperor and ordering the princes and princesses. This rule is only known by the deity-level city masters and the princes and princesses. It is reasonable that you do not know about it. Taking a deep breath, the sixth princess's cold purple eyes stared deeply at Suyu. This is the Princess Yunxia in the eyes of the princes and princesses, an ambitious woman who wants to destroy us. Suyu pondered. So far, she has only suppressed you, and I can't see the intention to get rid of you. Oh, that's because you don't know the existence of the bitter sea sacrifice. The six princesses' eyes showed fear. The bitter sea sacrifice? What was that? This is a new rule that she secretly promulgated 10 years ago. Because the bitter sea continues to erode the demon realm continent. This woman used the order of my father, who was in isolation, to open the bitter sea sacrifice every 10 years, sacrificing a prince or princesses to the giant of the bitter sea in order to slow down the erosion of the bitter sea. In history, there have indeed been cases where members of the royal family were dragged into the bitter sea, and the bitter sea stopped the erosion. Her statement is still reasonable, but the bitter sea is not terrible enough to devour all the demon realm continents. If the sacrifice is not to destroy us, what is it? At the rate of once every 10 years, in less than 100 years, the princes and princesses would all be destroyed. First, the influence of the princes and princesses was weakened, so that they lost the power to call on all the gods to resist. Finally, the dagger was revealed, and they were so vicious that they were sacrificed to the giant of the bitter sea one by one. Suyu couldn't help but think of these words. The most vicious woman's heart. Even Suyu shuddered in fear. Was Princess Yunxia such a vicious woman? Then why don't you complain to the demon emperor? Suyu said. The sixth princess smiled bitterly. Father's retreat does not allow anyone to visit, and the same goes for us princes and princesses. What about the last time the demon emperor made a move to save you and the seventh prince from the hands of the god of death? The sixth princess said, that was father's projection, not his real self. It disappeared in a flash, and there was no time for us to complain. The 10-year period is up, and the weakest prince and princess among us will be sent to be sacrificed. Whoever resists will be killed by the holy magic hall. We, the princes and princesses, are no longer the glorious existences high above us, but livestock that are kept in captivity and have no power to resist. After listening, Suyu couldn't help but touch his nose. It was the first time that the princes and princesses had been sacrificed like this. This was simply too tragic. Then why did you come to me? Just to remind me not to see her? The sixth princess shook her head, her eyes focused on Suyu, full of ardent hope. No, I hope you can help me with something. You want me to kill her? Suyu said. If that was the case, he could only sneer. How could he deal with Princess Yunxia, who was so powerful and influential? No. The sixth princess shook her head and looked at Suyu. You elope with me. Chapter 1239. P.S. Here is today's update. And by the way, I want to pull votes for the Chidian 515 Fan Festival. Everyone has 8 votes, and the voting also gives some coins. Did I misunderstand something? Suyu said in amazement. The sixth princess shook her head. No, we didn't misunderstand. My request is literal. Elope with me and leave the demon realm. With such a turn of events, Suyu was confused. After returning to his senses, Suyu murmured, although you princes and princesses are bullied, it shouldn't be difficult to escape from the demon realm, right? Last time, she and the seventh prince reached the Xing River through the 9 demons' god sealing ring. It is not difficult to leave the demon realm, but it is extremely difficult to avoid the holy magic hall. The sixth princess offered a drop of demon god blood on her fingertips. Compared with the ordinary demon god blood, it contained a unique royal aura. As long as I have half of the royal bloodline, no matter where I escape, the holy magic hall can find me. The fate of the princes and princesses who escaped the demon realm in the past explains everything. So, if I elope with you, the holy magic hall won't find out? The sixth princess looked at Suyu's right hand. Yes, you can reverse the demonization of the all-access merchant god, and you must have separated my demon god blood. If you can also separate the aura of my royal family, it will be difficult for the holy magic hall to find me. No wonder the sixth princess and the seventh prince were willing to risk offending the god of death to grab Suyu. They probably speculated on the role of the Milky Way star sand. Suyu fell into deep thought. After a conversation, he learned that the seemingly prosperous interior of the demon realm was dangerous. The demon emperor was in seclusion, and Princess Yunxia held the power of the demon realm and killed the princes and princesses of the demon realm. Man proposes, but God disposes, and the situation was far beyond Su Yu's expectations. How about it? As long as you're willing to help me, I am willing to give myself to you and be your partner. My beauty is the best in the demon realm, and my strength is second only to the eldest prince among the princes and princesses. If I stay with you, I can protect you until you become a god. The sixth princess came over. Her slender and exquisite body gently leaned in Su Yu's arms, and the corners of her mouth evoked a charming smile. Su Yu calmly raised the mortal fairy's strength and shook it off. Then, he said indifferently, "You don't have to suppress the disgust in your heart and force a smile." The sixth princess's smile froze. Indeed, as a demon, she was born to despise the creatures of the galaxy. Marrying someone who was not a demon was indeed disgusting to her. "So what is your decision?" The sixth princess stared at Su Yu's eyes and asked expectantly. "Sorry, I refuse." Su Yu looked at the sixth princess lightly. "My intuition tells me that you are not trustworthy." There were too many loopholes in the sixth princess's words. The simplest example was, why did her attitude change so much? A month ago, she had sent the book deity to capture him. Now, she was compromising and would rather surrender herself to Su Yu. Something must have happened. "Farewell." Su Yu turned around. The purple-eyed city master and the luminous moon city master appeared abruptly and escorted Su Yu away vigilantly. As for the book deity whom he had previously promised, Su Yu didn't ask, but he already had some guesses. Watching Su Yu leave, the sixth princess bit her silver teeth, and a gloomy color flashed in her eyes. She said coldly, "It seems that your strategy didn't work." A pale middle-aged man, who was no longer as elegant as before, stepped out of the bamboo forest. Who else could it be but the book deity? Where did he show the slightest sign of being caught? It's reasonable that he didn't agree. If it were anyone else, they would doubt the sixth princess's intentions. The book deity didn't care. It was indeed the book deity who plotted behind the scenes. If it weren't for Princess Yunxia, who sent 4 maids to protect him, I wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. I would have just caught him and taken away the ability in his right palm. The sixth princess recalled that she had thrown herself into his arms and felt disgusted. What she had just said was 70% true and 30% false. The ambition of Princess Yunxia and the situation of the princes and princesses were not empty words. The princes and princesses had reached the moment of life and death. They were all secretly accumulating strength and preparing to launch a coup. Before the sacrifice of the bitter sea arrived, they would fight desperately. She launched a surprise attack and assassinated the ninth princess, who was ignorant and the least scheming, in order to have more powerful forces in the coup. In the eyes of outsiders, the sixth princess killed her sister in order to compete for the throne. Only she knew that she was just saving her own life. As for sacrificing her sister, what feelings were there between the royal families of the demon race? She used the book deity strategy to include Su Yu in her pocket. The purpose was to give herself a way out. In case the coup failed, she could use Su Yu's ability to eliminate the power of the royal bloodline and avoid being tracked by the Holy Magic Hall. She hated that Su Yu's will was firm. She was willing to give herself to him, but he was unmoved. The book deity was also very regretful. If Su Yu had turned to the sixth princess, he had 100 ways to kill him silently. This matter needs to be considered at length. The sixth princess exhaled deeply. Once the coup is launched, it will be irreversible. If it fails, there's only a glimmer of hope to escape to the galaxy. The royal breath in my bloodline is a big hidden danger after all. A trace of bitterness and helplessness bloomed between her lips. Sea Watch City Mansion. Su Yu had been practicing silently for 3 days, stabilizing the 3 realms of the mortal fairy that had just broken through. One day later, the purple-eyed demonic god quietly came to Su Yu's place. "How is it?" Su Yu opened his eyes and looked around vigilantly. The purple-eyed demonic god's face was sullen. "The 6th princess is right. You have really been surrounded. The 4 maids of Princess Yunxia are guarding the north, south, east, and west of Sea-Watch City. It is almost impossible to escape without alarming them. In addition, about the sacrifice of the bitter sea, it is true. Furthermore, according to the last time, the person chosen at random to be sacrificed should be the 6th princess. It is no wonder that she is so impatient in her actions, vainly attempting to annex the Jingyu realm and grasp greater power. She is truly anxious." Sure enough, Su Yu's heart was heavy. Although the 6th princess was not kind to him, Princess Yunxia seemed to be determined to get the Milky Way star sand. Tianjizi, you really left me with a huge task," Su Yu murmured. If he did not bring the message, he would not be able to fully control the Milky Way star sand and wake up the sleeping tree god. But if he did, the Milky Way star sand would be taken away by Princess Yunxia, and he would not be able to keep his life. Now that the 4 maids are watching, you can't delay for too long. Otherwise, Princess Yunxia will lose her patience and directly detain you to the Demon Emperor. At that time, everything will be too late. Little friend, you still need to plan early. Su Yu's eyes flashed slightly. Going to the Demon Emperor now must be a suicide mission, but if you go too late, time is tight, and some plans need to be arranged in advance. Pass down the order. Her Royal Highness the 9th Princess has returned and invited all the princes and princesses to a banquet. Su Yu pondered for a while, his eyes flashed, and he wrote 8 letters, each stamped with the jade seal of the 9th princess. The purple-eyed demonic god was slightly surprised. "Is the 6th princess also invited to a banquet?" "Please," Su Yu said. The purple-eyed demonic god realized the seriousness of the matter, and the situation was extraordinarily serious. He immediately held 6 letters and sent them everywhere. After he left, Su Yu summoned Qianjun. "Have you found the early quasi-gods who were detained by Liang?" Su Yu asked. Since the Demon Cloud City was pacified, Qianjun was responsible for taking over the affairs of the Demon Cloud City, and looking for those loyal early quasi-gods was also part of the task. "I have lived up to your expectations, my lord, and have found them." Su Yu nodded. "Well, there are a total of 100 of them, and 30 of them will be at your disposal. From now on, they will hide in the demon realm and never come out." My lord, what are you doing?" Qianjun was shocked. Su Yu said, "Maybe I will leave the demon realm soon and return to the Xing River. You lead them to stay in the demon realm, lurk, and secretly inquire about the news of the demon realm." The situation had changed dramatically, and Su Yu had a plan early. "My lord, I am willing to leave the demon realm with you," Qianjun said. Su Yu had given him a new lease of life, and it was worth following. "Oh, the role of inquiring for me is incomparable to several gods. In the demon realm, there are not many people I can trust, and you are one of them. This matter can only be handed over to you." Su Yu patted him on the shoulder. "After I leave, the affairs of the demon realm will be entrusted to you." Qianjun was moved and solemnly bowed. "Yes, I will not disappoint you." Not long after, he and Shar led 30 carefully selected prospective gods and disappeared from Sea-Watch City. Their movements naturally could not be hidden from the eyes of the 4 deity maids outside the city. However, a group of prospective gods was comparable to ants in their eyes. They were not worth paying attention to, so they did not care. Leaning on the seat of the city master, Su Yu was lost in thought. Puppy had come out at some point and was lying at Su Yu's feet. Her bright dog eyes were curiously looking at Su Yu. After pacifying the Jingyu realm, Su Yu, who could have really become the actual ruler of the Jingyu realm, suddenly faced the terrible existence of Princess Yunxia. Normally, Puppy would have been gloating, but staring at Su Yu's frown, she could not laugh. Although this guy is hateful, it is not easy. First, there was a group of prospective gods chasing and intercepting. Then there was the Demon Cloud City Master who cleaned up the Emperor's side, and now he is targeted by Princess Yunxia. Puppy thought that although Suyu was bad, he did not seem to be malicious to her. At least, he was better than the Demon Cloud City Master. If he died like this, it would be a pity. After thinking about it again, Puppy opened her mouth and spat out a golden spear. The spear was golden all over, and the surface was burning with a layer of faint golden flames. It was very gentle and did not have any scorching air. This is... Suyu looked down and asked suspiciously. Golden flames, forbidden wood. Puppy said, for you to save your life. Suyu's pupils shrank slightly. This was the golden flames, forbidden wood, the first divine wood of the demon realm that restrained the giant of the bitter sea. There were only 10 pieces in total, one for each of the 9 princes and princesses, and one for the demon emperor. This should be the most powerful thing on Puppy. Without taking the spear, Suyu picked up Puppy and put her on his lap. His eyes were soft. Puppy, do you want me to die? Puppy hesitated for a moment, nodded, and snorted in her heart. I don't think so. I'll let you show off first. Ah, it's true that love grows with time. You have never left me. Are you deeply in love with me? Puppy gritted her teeth angrily, as if to say, shameless. She opened her mouth and swallowed back the golden flames forbidden wood. She regretted it, but after swallowing half of it, it was forcibly pulled out by Suyu. Puppy, you have to be honest. How can you take back what you spit out? Let me keep it for you. Holding the golden flames forbidden wood spear without hesitation, Suyu gently stroked her head and comforted the angry Puppy. After struggling and protesting twice, Puppy obediently laid down and enjoyed the touch comfortably, moaning in enjoyment. She did not realize that she was really becoming more and more like a little white dog. Touching the golden flames forbidden wood, Suyu's eyes were full of regret. It's a pity that there is only one spear. If there is enough golden flames forbidden wood, maybe I won't be so passive. Puppy's ears moved, hesitated for a moment, and said, the seed of the golden flames forbidden wood is in the hands of the 6th princess. What? Suyu was shocked. Chapter 1240. P.S. Here's today's update. And by the way, I'd like to drum up votes for Chidian 515 Fan Festival. Everyone has 8 votes, and the voting also gives some coins. I beg for your support and appreciation. There is only one seed of the golden flames forbidden wood in the demon realm, and it is in the hands of the demon emperor. This is a well-known fact. When the 6th princess was born, the demon emperor gave the seed to the 6th princess as a blessing. This is a royal secret, and it is really difficult for outsiders to know. The seed of the golden flames forbidden wood is actually on her. Suyu was surprised. With a thoughtful look, Suyu's eyes lit up. If the seed of the golden flames forbidden wood can be planted, maybe the situation will be different. The purple-eyed demonic god's letter was sent to the hands of every prince and princess. Nominally, the 9th princess escaped from the hands of the giant of the bitter sea, and it was understandable that she invited her brothers and sisters to come to the gathering. Although the 4 maids were on guard, they couldn't stop her. The 6th princess, who received the letter, was surprised. Oh, it seems that Suyu is not willing to sit still and wait for death. In addition to me, he also invited other brothers and sisters. The book deity frowned slightly. Your Highness, are you going? Of course. The 6th princess smiled, revealing her white teeth. In half a year, it will be the sacrifice of the bitter sea. There are not many opportunities for us princes and princesses to gather together. I believe that the other princes and princesses will come to this gathering organized by Suyu. Why, you don't want me to go? The 6th princess turned to look at the book deity. The book deity's eyes flashed with a strange light, and he shook his head. No one knew what he was thinking in his heart. The rest of the princes and princesses all received the letter and gave the purple-eyed demonic god a positive reply. Only one person was an exception. So, except for the 7th prince, all the other princes and princesses are willing to come? Suyu listened to the purple-eyed demonic god's reply, and his eyes flashed. The 7th prince, that cultured and refined prince with astonishing strength? Among the princes and princesses, although he was young, his strength was firmly in the top 3, only below the eldest prince and the 6th princess. His refusal was really unexpected. However, one less person would not affect the overall situation. Half a month later, the 7 princes and princesses all came to Sea-Watch City to visit their 9th sister. As the focus of attention today, the 9th princess was released by Suyu. She sat in the seat of the city master and greeted the princes and princesses who came to visit. When it was time for lunch, everyone moved to another living room. There were restrictions set up by the purple-eyed demonic god above and below the living room, which could prevent gods from probing. Seeing this scene, the eyes of the princes and princesses flashed. They knew that the main event was coming. The host was still the 9th princess. She had been waiting in the living room for a long time. However, when the princes and princesses entered, they found that the 9th princess was no longer in the main seat. Instead, it was a silver-haired demon. Their 9th sister was squatting at his feet like a spiritual pet. All the princes and princesses knew who Suyu was, and they were well aware that he was holding the 9th princess hostage. Some of the princes and princesses looked indifferent, while others looked indignant. She was the daughter of the Devil Emperor, but under the suppression of Princess Yunxia, she was reduced to a spiritual pet. Demon Yu, we understand that you are valued by Princess Yunxia, but today is a day for us brothers and sisters to reunite. Can you, an outsider, please step aside? The one who spoke was the 2nd princess. She was beautiful and had an indignant look in her eyes. Suyu looked at her with a little appreciation. Among the 9 princes and princesses, she was the only one who stood up for Gua. Hee, Your Highness the 2nd princess, don't burn the bridge after crossing the river. You've hurt my feelings. Anyway, it was I who invited you, so I can give you a chance to discuss life and death matters together. Otherwise, it wouldn't be easy for you to find a suitable excuse to gather. The 2nd princess frowned. You seem to know our situation. Are you not afraid that we will kill you? How will killing me help you in your current situation? It is because I know your situation that I gathered you today and am willing to help you, Suyu said slowly. The 2nd princess sneered. Do you think that you, a little city master? Well, my identity as a little city master is certainly not enough. What if I have another identity? Huh? In the crowd, the 6th princess was surprised and looked at Suyu curiously. Another identity? Is it possible that you are from the Holy Magic Hall? The 2nd princess was suspicious. Suyu smiled and shook his head. If I were from the Holy Magic Hall, how could I be blamed by the people of the Holy Magic Hall in public? Then you are from Princess Yunxia? This doesn't seem to need to be emphasized, right? The 2nd princess snorted coldly, her eyes full of hatred. Your Royal Highness the 2nd princess. Should I say that you are straightforward and careless, or should I say that you are cute and stupid? When you came, you should have found the 4 maids of Princess Yunxia, right? You don't think that they are guarding Sea-Watch City because they are afraid that I will be cold, right? The rest of the princes and princesses were silent. When they came, they saw the clues. The situation of this demon did not seem to be as good as the rumors said. Princess Yunxia was monitoring him. Then what is your identity? Don't keep us guessing. The 2nd princess put her hands on her hips and said angrily. Suyu narrowed his eyes. My identity? Oh, the Great Eastern Alliance, the acting god, the feather god. When these words came out, the audience was shocked. The 6th princess was secretly surprised. She was the only one who knew Suyu's true identity, but she didn't know that Suyu dared to announce it to the demon royal family. What? You are an outsider, sneaking into my demon world and becoming a city master. What are your intentions? When the 2nd princess heard this, she immediately flared up. Her eyes narrowed as she attacked Suyu. Oh, Your Royal Highness the 2nd princess, please calm down. A purple light flashed and stopped the impulsive 2nd princess. Purple-eyed demonic god, you betrayed the demon world? Aren't you afraid of being hunted down by the Holy Magic Hall? The 2nd princess asked sternly. The purple-eyed demonic god smiled and said, Then, dare I ask the 2nd princess who is loyal to the demon world, what will happen to you? The 2nd princess was speechless. Her fate was to be chosen as the next sacrifice of the bitter sea in fear and trepidation. Looking at the rest of the princes and princesses, although shocked, no one had a hostile reaction. On the contrary, many princes and princesses' vigilance eased a lot. As an outsider, Suyu is even more unlikely to be a person of Princess Yunxia. They have a common enemy. It seems that you understand. Suyu smiled faintly and glanced at the princes and princesses present. You launched a coup, and I will leave you with a way to escape. He was concise and to the point, stating the theme of today's gathering. Can you prepare a way for us? The second princess said, looking up and down at Suyu, her face full of disbelief. Do you have a large number of masters of the Great Eastern Alliance to support you? I am the only one. You really dare to talk big. Why are you preparing a way for us? The second princess shook her head. The rest of the princes and princesses were also calm, and there was not much expectation. They knew very well that the key to restricting their escape route was their natural royal aura. With this aura, no matter where they fled, they could not escape the pursuit of the Holy Magic Hall. Oh, so you smiled faintly and held Puppy in his arms. His right palm gently stroked her smooth fur from head to toe. Puppy trembled, and her bright eyes overflowed with shyness. But then, Puppy suddenly exclaimed, "Ah, my royal aura!" This exclamation attracted the attention of the princes and princesses. Swish! Several princes and princesses got up in horror, and their eyes widened. They clearly found that the royal aura emitted by Puppy's body was completely eliminated, and there was not a trace left. At first glance, Puppy was just like an ordinary demon, and they could not feel the slightest royal aura. In this way, if Puppy left the demon realm, unless the Holy Magic Hall searched all corners of the Xing River, they would not find Puppy at all. Suddenly, their eyes burned with burning light, and they stared at Suyu with heavy breathing, their eyes full of excitement. Of course, there were also greedy eyes. The purple-eyed demonic god's eyes narrowed, and he quietly protected Suyu behind him. He whispered, "Isn't it too early to be disloyal?" However, his warning could not dispel the blazing eyes of the princes and princesses. The sacrifice of the bitter sea was like a nightmare that haunted them. They had been frightened for decades, and when they saw hope in a desperate situation, how could they be stopped by a small city master? Seeing that the princes and princesses were about to go berserk and fall into a situation out of control, Suyu was disappointed. A group of useless mud. Sit down. However, at this moment, a voice that was filled with magnetism and was not loud came from the mouth of a prince who had not stood up all this time. His facial features were firm, his eyes were clear and calm, and his temperament was steady, giving people a sense of reliability. When the voice fell, the princes and princesses who were ready to move actually quieted down and sat down again, full of extreme respect for the prince. So you looked at this person. With such majesty, he should be the rumored first prince. He had the most potential to surpass the current demon emperor. The first prince raised his head, and a pair of deep and sharp eyes were cast at Suyu. Suddenly, Suyu felt a bit of stinging pain in his eyes. His eyes narrowed, and he secretly channeled a trace of divine power from the great path divine source to resolve the pain caused by the sharp eyes. You do have the ability to give us a way out. So, what price do we have to pay? Suyu showed an appreciative smile. Finally, I met someone who knows how to make a deal. I help you resolve the royal aura, and you help me escape from the demon realm, Suyu said. The first prince didn't think for a long time, and on behalf of the princes and princesses, he agreed. Okay, if our coup succeeds, you can go or stay at will. But if we fail, we will take you out of the demon realm on the condition that you help us resolve the royal aura. Okay. The first prince nodded and looked at Suyu for a moment. In the intertwining of their eyes, Suyu, who represented the Great Eastern Alliance and the demon realm's royal family, reached an agreement. Next, the two sides discussed the details. Only when they escaped from the demon realm, Suyu would resolve the royal aura for the princes and princesses. Before leaving, they needed to send a member of the royal family to follow Suyu closely, both to monitor and protect him. For the candidate, the second princess volunteered and stared at Suyu provocatively. "Leave it to me. I will never give this guy a chance to cheat." The princes and princesses looked at each other and seemed to be discussing. The second princess's words were not impossible. Let the sixth princess do it, the first prince said lightly. The second princess was not convinced. I can do it. The first prince looked at her and shook his head. You have a straightforward temperament. You can't control the feather demon. In a short confrontation, the first prince could see Su Yu's temperament and character. He must be a strategist. Only smart people can really control Su Yu. Among the 9 princes and princesses, the 6th princess was famous for her cleverness, and it was the most appropriate to leave it to her. You could just say that I'm stupid. The second princess clenched her fists angrily. The first prince was indifferent and looked at the 6th princess. 6th princess, what do you think? Of course, I am willing. The 6th princess's bright eyes turned, and her delicate face smiled like 100 flowers blooming. A trace of slyness returned to her eyes and was branded on Su Yu. Heartless man, it seems that you can't get rid of me.